Some may find the following disturbing. Discretion is advised.
The hell is going on? Are we all wearing orange?
We are. Look at that.
Oh my God. Hang on, let me switch it up tonight.
I said the same thing. I had like a white fucking t-shirt on. Oh, fuck it. I'll go with the orange.
Look at this guy. He looks like Zach Miller, man.
Yeah, I got the fucking hard line and everything. Look at that shit.
Look at this.
Right in my style, Aldo. I just want for the record that I...
That is awesome.
Look at that. He's looking like he's trimming down.
Getting there.
Awesome. Working out.
What's
Look at his fucking sleeves rolled up, Aldo.
Damn, those fucking guns.
He's got the pythons going.
Hey, I was thinking about we should do 100 proof playoff beards.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Don't fucking shave until the playoffs are here and we fucking lose or get knocked out of the playoffs.
How about
fucking
once the playoffs begin, you're talking.
Yeah.
No, I know. Yeah, I just wanted to see Phil have a heart attack because I knew Steph would fucking kill him.
She's like, "Can you shave?"
But see, Ela's the exact opposite. If I shave my face, she won't even fucking talk to me.
Really?
Like, oh, get out of here till that grows back a little bit. Just get away from me.
That's funny.
It's that fucking Yugoslavian.
I told her, I said, I don't give a fuck what my face looks like. You better be fucking prepared Sunday night about fucking 10 o'clock.
Sociopathic, psychopathic.
Did you listen to the newest I Have a Stream yet, Aldo?
Yeah. No, that one. Did I listen to that one? No, that one I did not listen to.
Well, when you do, Tooch says,
I know, he does.
Every other fucking word. I'm trying to get his cadence down a little bit because he'll be like, yeah, guys, I got this new job. It's in Iowa. Fucking
Oh, man.
In 3 minutes, I counted 35 ums in 3 minutes. I'm dead serious.
All right, let's get the show on the road. Dan, give me your read again.
All right. Now, am I doing it like a straight face?
Pizzazz, Jim.
Do it do it in the craziest fucking way you can think of.
Okay, tell me when.
3, 2, 1.
The following program may contain cuss words. If you're easily offended, fuck off.
Yeah, oh yeah, oh. Yeah. Nah. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Every week on 100 proof, even if the Bears win or lose. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Every week on 100 proof, no matter if the Bears win or lose. Yo, first, the smartest man, no tweets he's ever missing. Impossible, the mission, call out frauds with precision. A Bears 100 proof, these faces #1 Adora. Slaying dumb tweets, cross-eyed like Confora. Never one to back down, Shayne be calling a fraud. Our dumbest tweets of the week, the mailman goes all out. Cheers, Bears fans. The fired Puerto Rican barkeeping for Chicagoland. He's the godfather, the one, the real producer. Always keeping the show together with the voice that will seduce us. Biscuit out the Firefox, the old timer never stops. IPAs, drafts, malts, crafts, barkeep takes the shots. Barflies appreciated worldwide. Canada, Scotland, England, Brazil, Mexico, and Dubai. Dr. Phil is the guy, the one to realize that the barroom needed a show with an endless truth supply. Go big coat fought the narrative on color, brought the Jasons of get paid for Mitchell. Now I'm the usher. Standing up for the truth, 100 proof with the guys. Almost burned off the show, but I came back for the Barflies. Flies. Fuck a fraud in his keyboard, Twitter tough guys surround us. Raining truth on the Bears worldwide, Barflies astound us. This is the #1 pod, that's the reality of the truth. And if you don't know us by now, Bears 100 proof. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. Every week on 100 proof, even if the Bears win or lose. A Bears Barroom, they're the ones that fight for truth. 100 proof.
100
No matter if the Bears win or lose.
The NFC North 2018 Division Champions.
They're the ones that fight for truth. Every week on 100 proof. Even if the Bears win or lose.
Boy, you know MC for
Bears Barroom. They're the ones that fight for truth. Every week on 100 proof. No matter if the Bears win or lose.
And they win the NFC North.
Yeah. You know you got to feel it. You got to feel it. You got to feel it. Bears Barroom. You know you gotta feel it. Yeah, you gotta feel it. You know you're feeling.
Bring the band back together.
Keeping it 100, baby.
God.
Yeah.
Fulfilling.
Another fulfilling part to go on the track.
Getting past the first stone.
Bears. Number one rated 100 for the Bears. Barfly.
100 proof.
Shout out to John Farr, the super producer. Barfly, stand up, unite. Aldo Gandia.
100 proof.
It's the Bears Barroom. And of course, it's only one. The smartest man in the bar room. Come on now, the mailman, your Shayne, money man Marsaw. Deliver the mail, MC fulfill for the Bears Barroom. Your boy, Giraffe Dr. Bears 100 proof.
Keeping it 100, baby.
Yeah, it's 100 proof.
Got to operate with more urgency, just in and out of the huddle. I don't want to have to condition these guys after practice. I'd rather that practice time be spent for meaningful reps. And the conditioning should be in practice, hustling from drill to drill, in and out of the huddle, and just practicing with a purpose. And there's a lot of room for improvement there.
Another good day. I mean, we're getting more and more reps for the guys, and today we did some red zone, which was good. Tomorrow will be a good day to come out because there's going to be some live. So it'll be we'll do some short yardage, some goal line, and some different aspects situationally, and we'll make it live and see how it goes.
Bears 100 proof, and you just heard Green Bay Packers coach Matt LaFleur sounding a little pissed off at his boys up there in G-Town for not hustling and looking just bad. I guess that's the way to put it. And then you heard head coach Matt Nagy of the Chicago Bears happy with how his troops are working out and anticipating a really tough day, a great day of practice on Friday when the guys are going to be hitting each other. My name is Aldo Gandia. I serve the drinks here, but don't you worry, the stars of our show are here, and they are, of course, Draft Dr. Phil Ottochian and Shayne, the smartest man in the barroom, Marsaw. We've got a few guests with us tonight. I'll introduce them momentarily, but I want to get to the guys quickly here. Shayne and Phil, how are you? Let me begin with you, Mr. Draft Dr. Phil.
Whoa. What the fuck, Aldo?
We're all fucking wearing orange.
Fucker shows up in orange, now he's getting risky.
We're all wearing orange tonight.
Everybody.
Unplanned.
That's amazing. Everybody
Still hasn't cleaned his fucking couch. The cat hair.
Oh, I kept it for you.
Holy cow, that is a lot of cat hair there, bro.
My fucking daughter was supposed to clean it up for Shayne tonight. Apparently she forgot. Remember those girls in high school, like the mean girls? They all dressed alike.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're all of them. I knew their name was Heidi.
Ashley.
Yeah. AC. All those mean girls.
Mean girls. We all wore the same color tonight.
Orange.
Truthfully. for you guys listening. I'm sure Shayne will put it out there tonight.
It's already there. It's already on.
Is.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you. Now, if Pablo and our other guests, I guess I'm ruining guest surprise.
That's all right. I don't
His
think
picture's out there too. We can spoil the surprise because I added him to it. Our fourth orange member.
It's Pablo,
the fourth orange member.
Pablo Jacques is going to join us from Mexico. Greg Braggs from Indiana.
Indiana.
Somebody named Christopher Bennett from California.
Connecticut.
No. Yeah, Colchester, Connecticut.
Shout out to CT, the Bears fans. This guy's a Navy kid, right, Shayne?
Yeah. Phil had him as a Navy SEAL, but I had to slap him around a little bit. And we're not going to go there yet.
Maybe he was in the Merchant Marine Corps.
Something like that.
So where'd you meet this guy? What gas station did you meet him at? Bathroom gas station?
Volleyball game.
They're playing Tommy Swords at a basketball. They're at a volleyball game.
Shayne met him on Twitter. I guess. Go ahead. He was a huge fan of Bears Barroom.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wasn't following him, and I happened to look through my DMs, and when it says that you've got a request or whatever from somebody sends you a message that you're not following, and I clicked on it, and Chris was asking me if I could reach out to Phil because he had recently moved to Connecticut and wanted to know where the best place that he could watch some Chicago Bears football games. Mm-hmm. So I reached out to Phil, and we talked, and I said, what the fuck? We might as well throw him a little invite, get him on 100 Proof. He's a big 100 Proof fan. We'll have him on for a few minutes, talk some ball, and, initiate him into the family here a little bit.
I like the idea.
Fucker better be wearing orange.
But I was smoking fucking reefer.
Of course you were, Aldo.
God, I need some more, man. Since that wedding thing, I've had this itch to just like smoke again. Back to my teenage days.
Better than just having an itch, right?
What was that?
It is actually
better than just having a regular itch, right? An STD at your daughter's wedding? That'd be weird.
Really.
Does anything good come with an itch?
No.
Nothing comes good.
Nothing. All right, let me get Mr. Bennett on the line. What do we say?
Shayne's going to introduce us.
I don't know the kid
Is this a ring? Oh, you're dialing.
I'm dialing this motherfucker up.
If he doesn't answer, he gets the long voicemail.
We don't have an intro for him, but Dan Aguire is standing by. He could probably come up with something, right?
Chris Bennett, and he's in the
Chris
Navy.
Bennett in the Navy, Dan, off the top of the dome. Super Bears Barroom fanatic.
Oh, man, I like that.
Draft Dr. Phil's #1 fan in the Navy. Next to the games report.
Don't call him a crazy Mexican, Dan.
Oh, my God.
All right. I believe
Hello?
Is this Christopher Bennett of the United States Naval Academy?
Speaking. Is this the great Aldo?
You know me well.
That's Aldo the Great for you.
Aldo the Great.
Hey,
And
Christopher.
the draft Dr. Phil.
Christopher, what is your rank?
I am HM2, or a hospital corpsman.
All right, I don't know what that means, but it sounds impressive.
We are the medical force for the United States Navy.
Oh,
there you go.
Your first responders.
Can you see that rash on Phil's forehead? Do you have any idea what could have caused that?
You can't see.
That looks like a rug burn.
Yeah. Well, those are all over his knees. We know that. I'm just talking about the one.
Hey, Christopher, as you know, we always produce these opens for our guests. Well, we did not produce one for you.
I would not expect that.
But Dan Aguire is standing by, and he's just going to riff something. He's going to introduce you in the Bears Barroom, Dan Aguire style. Dan, take it away.
He's a first responder. He's in the Navy. He's a Bears fan. He has a great cock. His name is... What's his name again?
Chris Bennett.
Chris Bennett. Herb Bennett's adopted cousins. Okay, I digress.
That was great.
See how we do it on 100 proof, Chris?
That is perfect. I love it.
This guy, all he has to do is reach out to the smartest man.
Yep.
And the next thing you know, he's on 100 proof.
He was damn
People
near
are
crying
fighting and
yesterday.
dyeing their hair green, Shayne, to get
I don't. Yeah, Zimmerman, right? Chris was damn near crying. Yeah, he's like, I don't know what I'm gonna say. And I'm like, come on, man, we're gonna get on there and talk some football, have some fun. We didn't know that you had a giant dick, like Dan just said, so that's weird. But
yeah, I guess it's all over in Connecticut. This guy's got a huge cock.
Are you single, Chris?
I am not. I am married.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, we can edit that, Chris.
Nope.
Let me see.
No worries. I like it. It can stay out there.
Well, Chris, let's talk a little football. What are your expectations for the Chicago Bears for 2019? And don't say Super Bowl because that's what the rest of us are going to say. So come up with something different.
It's got to be a deep playoff run. This team is built top to bottom. We are strong at every position. It's got to be a deep playoff run. There's no other option.
I like that.
Who's strong? Who's strong at kicker, Chris?
Well, I mean, it looks this training camp's been good with the kicker so far. I mean, Eddie Pinheiro's been hitting pretty regularly, and from 63 is impressive.
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something, guys. I've been out to camp now 3 days. I am super impressed with the kicking. These guys are battling their asses off. I'm impressed by Pinheiro's kicking power, by Fry's accuracy. I think that either one of these guys can make the team and do very well. And I'm like really gaga about this fucking kicking competition. It's great to see. You know, I said on Twitter Live the other day, what fucking kicker in the league has been automatically anointed, you know, when he first came into the league? Even if it was a fifth round, fourth round draft pick, they had to fight for a job. And so what's going on here in Chicago is no different than what every other kicker in the NFL has gone through. And I'm proud of the way these guys are fucking fighting for this job. They're taking it seriously. Pinheiro, talk about big cocks. This guy's got an attitude on him. And
you heard that here first.
Yeah.
Bears Barroom.
Where do you get
everyone's stealing from us?
Did you see the Puerto Rican running across the field?
No.
Trying to check girth when Eddie kicked that 63-yarder. Gandia took off. He was a fucking ruler and everything.
This guy. No, I want to say something though. Competition. We've always asked for that.
Right.
In Chicago. And you're talking anointed. Every year, based on salary, the Bears kind of anointed the guy. We have this similar complaint with the punter, but I'll steal one of Dan's words and digress on that and say, at least there's a competition going on with the kickers. And what do we watch football for? I mean, the whole part of the game is the competition, and thus in an ordinarily boring thing and a position you kind of take for granted until it's needed. We all know where that's going. Now, as Aldo said, and I think a lot of people have said, and I said it way before, I'm like, and Shayne, keep a fucking guy on the practice squad to bring competition. Now, this is playing out in front of the fans. And again, when the games start, Aldo, that's when we're going to find out who these guys really are. But it's nice to see that you've made an environment. And that's great coaching, that you can make an environment in practice in front of a crowd. Trust me, a crowd that's fucking excited about this football team.
I've seen a lot, and in a good way.
Oh, I accidentally played that a little too early. That's called premature ejaculation, Navy style.
Man, we're going heavy with the dick jokes tonight. You want to play Dan's Aaron Rodgers drop real quick?
Hold on,
I forgot to load my drops. Hey, Christopher, I want to ask you your opinion on the tight end position because, frankly, I'm starting to get a little worried. Trey Burton is not 100% healthy after his sports hernia. Adam Shayne came out and worked out a little bit, and I guess according to plan, he was just supposed to stretch and so forth. Then he took off the pads, but while he was walking right in front of me, he looked like he had a really bad back problem. And then Ben Braunecker, he's just Ben Braunecker. Like, what's his name said, Brian Baldinger, everybody needs a Braunecker, but I don't know if we need this Braunecker. And then you got all these other young guys, Ian Bunting, who's looked pretty good, Dax Raymond, who finally had a good day at practice today, and a bunch of other guys. I'm starting to worry about this tight end position. Christopher, you kind of feel the same way?
I do feel the same way. We raised a second-round draft pick on Shayne. If he could stay healthy, he has the potential to be great. But we have to get creative. They moved Bradley Soul over there. Maybe they had something planned for him, but we don't know what's going on with tight end right now. It's going to be a cluster until we can get everybody healthy and ready to go.
Yeah, and I got to tell you.
No. It's a hell no.
Aaron Curran making an appearance.
And I got to tell you that Bradley Soul, I mean, it's a great experiment, but man, he is slow off the line, man. That's a big body to get going, and he doesn't exactly explode off the line like some of the other tight ends on the team. So I'm a little bit worried about him. I think he kind of hurt his groin in one of the practices, and he's moved a little slower. I don't know about that experiment. I don't know if that's going to happen, but, if they need a blocking tight end, and if it's not Ben Braunecker, who the hell is it going to be? So, because Adam Shayne, we really can't count on him. I wouldn't be surprised if Shayne isn't on the PUP list or IR or something where they stash him away for a while.
He can't go on now, though, because training camp's already started.
That's right. Fucking rules.
Yeah. He can't go on the PUP, but he can go on that IR eligible later.
Right.
Well, yeah, and then you're missing him for at least the first 6 weeks. Well, so, I mean, at this point, you've
missed him for his career. So.
Phil and I were talking about it earlier today. The best play with him is go to him and Adam, you're sitting the next 3 weeks, no matter what. If you show up in 4 days and you say you're healthy, you're going to sit 2-3 weeks. We'll take our chances of you missing a majority of the preseason to get him to week 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then what the fuck you have to lose?
What is this guy's scenario? I got to keep it 100.
Well, I think some guys just
can't. This guy's as frail as Kevin White.
Kevin White was bones. I mean, his seemed to be concussions and muscle issues and sprained ankles. Today was lower back.
Right.
But Nagy came out and said that he did everything that was expected of him today.
Right.
So that was a little twist on what everybody was reporting.
I saw that quote and I thought it was like from a day ago.
No, that was from today after practice.
Today after practice, yeah. I was frankly shocked that he said that because, and maybe I read too much into it. I actually shot some video. I was going to post it, but I haven't had time of him on the sideline just kind of walking around gingerly. Yeah, to me, he looks like he's days and maybe weeks away from being ready to play football, and so I'm worried about this tight end position. Outside of that, this team is impressive in every fucking area. Let me play that soundbite that I prematurely started rolling. Was Matt Nagy was asked, "What have you seen out of the defense?" And this is what the coach said.
I've seen a lot, and in a good way. I love what we did last year, but that was last year. This is a new era for our team and for this season coming up. These guys, these players, not just the coaches, but the players have higher expectations. And I think for them, as long as they listen to what Chuck and his staff are doing, I think you guys are going to see some pretty good stuff. Is it going to happen week 1? I don't know. Hopefully it does. But I really feel good with where they're at. I will say this. Coming into this training camp, they're way past where I thought they were going to be. Just take that for what it's worth.
You guys just go back in.
Wow.
Yes, they are, man. I mean, I've been to camp.
You're out there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I am telling you, I have never, ever seen a defense play this well in camp before. And I've been going to camp now for, 10, 12, 13 years. This defense
40.
Looks like it's it wasn't going out to the days of Platteville. I don't think I ever went to Platteville. But these guys are flying around, and they know their assignments. There's no mistakes. And they're like feeding off of each other. You know, it's like they really want to be better than the guy next to them and stuff. And Dan Pompei wrote this article for The Athletic that, you know, he said that the Bears are their own worst enemy, could be their own worst enemy, because complacency might start to set in because there's no one vying for a starting job. All the starting jobs are filled. Well, let me tell you something. That doesn't fucking matter with these guys. They want to be the best. And I'm psyched.
The dude carrying the bags of money on defense, number 52?
Yeah.
He's your biggest fucking firecracker back there, getting everybody going. What does he come out and say to the media? Hey, the time is now. It's not for 2020. You go and you win now, because you don't know. Somebody was talking about it on Sirius Satellite Radio today, talking about Dan Marino getting to the Super Bowl as a rookie. You know goddamn well when he walked off of that field when they lost, that Dan Marino was saying to himself, I'm going to be back here 5 or 6 times. I'm a rookie and I was just here. He never went back. So you never know. I said that in 06 with that team. I'm like, you know what? This team's young. The core is young. Who knows what's going to happen at quarterback? But we have the horses. We're going to be back. And
never got back.
Right.
Let me say this about 52 real quick, because I think it's important that these fans around the league remember Bears Barroom going live that day, and what Shayne, Aldo, and myself had to say, the impact this would have on this football team. You don't fucking know, PFF, and every other critic that said we gave away too much. Now, that player, just by handling himself as professional as you could possibly ever ask for. LT was probably one of the greatest, if not the greatest, pass rushers ever. The way he handled himself off the field was like the team could be like, fuck him. Who gives a fuck? This guy is in a league of its own. And we talked about the culture needing to change. All the things, I'm sorry. If it sounds fucking arrogant, fuck you. It's true. It's in audio history, Sandy. Tom probably has a library. I know Dan can remember. Shayne, Aldo, and myself. Get rid of Fox. The culture needs to change. Get some leaders in here. Some guys with mental toughness. I don't give a fuck. How many times did I say it, Chris Bennett? Money, fuck you nerds in the fucking cap. Okay? Fucking doesn't matter.
But I checked Spotrac today, Phil, and we're in trouble next year.
Oh, we're scared about next year. We haven't fucking started this year. This is the complacency of the fucking fan. Going back to my point, when you have money bags on defense, playing every down, destroying it. Fucking Greg Braggs Jr. I felt like listening to him on a show. What is it? Chai fans or is it Shy fans? Do we have an update on that?
It's both, yeah.
Okay. On their show, talking wax poetic about fucking Khalil Mack's 12 ab muscles and how he's destroyed every play. Motherfucker was on Waddle and Sylvie talking about it for Bears Barroom on ESPN Radio 1000. So let's keep it 100 here with these people. Khalil Mack, Matt Nagy, and getting what, Shayne? The quarterback, securing him. Those fucking holy trinity, as Sam Rutigliano said on this, the holy trinity of football, the GM, the coach, the quarterback, you got in Chicago. And you fucking put the cherry on top with the third, what is it? Voted the third best player in all of football.
Number 3, yeah.
Number 52 getting paid. Gives a fuck. He destroys offenses. And any fucking person that calls themselves a football analyst is going to sell you that this team is going to take a step back, or that we don't know what the Bears are, is fucking playing Dan Aguire's fucking, fear game about the Vikings from 1992 actually wore yellow pants on this day. So no, even though we all fucking wore orange. Chris, are you wearing an orange shirt?
I'm wearing a dark gray shirt with the orange bear on it.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Got orange. No.
Nice. We all have orange tonight on Unplanned.
Planned.
I saw that. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
All right. You're in. Take a picture and send it to Shayne so he can add you in.
We'll post it.
But seriously, Aldo, you're there. Khalil Mack, you're talking wax poetic about this defense in practice.
Let me tell you that Khalil Mack right now, finally the NFL Network did something right with their fucking top 100 list. Yeah. They put him in the top 3. I can't argue with Aaron Donald being number 1. At least, what he did last year was pretty tremendous. 1A with what Mack did. But, you're totally right, Phil. Khalil Mack is just not a presence and a power on the football field. This guy is a leader, and his aura has transformed this team from a very good defense to a great defense. And he has set the tone for everything. Mm-hmm. Set the tune for the recognition that the team is getting now from the national media, because Akeem Hicks, as the guys over at Blitz Bears said in their most recent episode here at Bears Barroom Radio Network, Akeem Hicks had a better season in 2017 statistically than he did in 2018. Did he make the top 100 list in 2017? No. Did he make it in 2018 with stats that didn't compare to 2017? Yes. Why? Because of Khalil Mack's presence. And all of a sudden he brought out that tension. So, and that attention and that all of that, just positive vibes, Mack is spreading that out into that clubhouse. And these guys are just on a different level, man. I haven't seen anything like it in a long time. And I'm talking 85 Bears. Right. And I sniffed it last year. I was talking about this could be a record-breaking defense in 2018. Well, it's going to be 2019. Those people are saying, well, Vic Fangio is gone. Fuck you, and Vic Fangio's gone. Khalil Mack is here.
That's right. Hey, we can't forget about our other guy on the line there, Mr. Aguire. Dan, you have any thoughts on Khalil Mack or any questions?
Prefacing, I love the trade. I bought a jersey as soon as the trade happened. So I'm not saying that he's overrated. I'm not saying he's overrated. That leads into my question. You all talk about how I kind of worry and have anxiety about things.
Kind of.
So this question is an extension of that fear. There are some players such as like Phillip Rivers or Aaron Rodgers, regardless of how bad they are or how much they don't win, the fucking media acts like they're top 5, regardless of what their stats or this season actually says. So, if Khalil Mack is the 3rd best player in the NFL, where was he in the Eagles game again?
Come on, Dan.
No. I'm just saying. I'm so used. I haven't seen a Bears dominant pass rusher in a playoff game since Richard Dent. I'm just saying Peppers didn't show up in 2010. I don't remember him creating any havoc. And what?
Did you see Khalil Mack in the run game?
No. I love Mack.
Mack also caused the Amos interception.
Yep, he did.
He comes in on a pass rush.
This was an extension of fear more than a legitimate question.
It's not just based on sack numbers for a game.
Exactly.
The guy's dictating. He's changing the game, like Phil said, in just pressure itself. Remember way back, Phil, when Greg Blosh was the defensive coordinator, and he said, it's not all about sacks. Pressures are more important. And there's people were blasting the guy, but there's a ton of truth to that.
Only because what transpires after pressure is a turnover that could turn into a pick 6. And turnovers, Lovey, that's all he preached. The Bears, how many turnovers last year? 39, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Khalil Mack, his presence alone dictates a game plan, let alone a down per down basis. He predicates a whole game plan for that week. So
absolutely,
this guy is, like I've said, you just watch the tape. LT compares favorably to this guy. So that's why I'm like, wow, this guy is in that category, in that level. And I'm with you, Aldo. The Aaron Donald, you can't. Oh no, it's like, do you like fucking pistachio or do you like mint chocolate chip?
Mint chocolate chip. Fucking landslide. Tried that fucking pistachio. It was fucking overrated and never again.
Pistachio is where it's at.
We gotta. Our other guest is gonna fall asleep here because Phil won't shut the fuck up. Chris, you still there? Still awake?
I'm still here.
All right, man. Hey, one thing that I wanted to ask you before we let you go here, because we have other people lined up, is how did you hear about Bears Barroom and get involved in everything on that side of it?
So I was just looking for Bears podcast on Twitter or on iTunes, and I ran across your guys'. And since that day, I've just subscribed and followed, and I downloaded Twitter because of it, just so I could get updates and
nice,
just everything. So that's where it all started.
Nice.
I was listening to you guys all overseas. Yeah, that's about it.
Now, I know you told me yesterday that I was by far your favorite person on here. You weren't real big fans of Aldo and Phil, but yeah, so we do appreciate that, Chris.
Thank you.
No, really, who is your favorite? Go ahead, tell him it's me.
He called you Aldo the Great, for God's sake.
He did. Wow, that settles it right there. No need to say anything else.
New nickname.
Hey, Christopher, thank you for your service to our country. Thank you for listening to Bears Barroom Radio Network, and thank you for being a great sport and joining us in here and us making fun of your huge cock.
Well, thank you guys. This has been awesome.
Well, Chris, Shayne told me, because you're in Connecticut station. Where are you originally from, real quick?
I'm from Spokane, Washington.
Oh, upstate. Upstate.
Yeah. What?
Phil doesn't know geography. Jesus Christ. Upstate.
Upstate.
He's from Washington State, you dumb fuck.
Upstate. That's what I call it. On the West Coast.
You call the West Coast upstate?
What the fuck is Pablo from? Low State?
Yeah.
The fuck is about?
Anyway, I know you're in Connecticut, and Shayne was saying you're looking for a place to see the Bears, so I'm going to open up my doors to you to come over here, chill out with Bears Barroom's own Phil Ottochian and fucking watch some Bears. If you're going to tell me the game you want to come, and then we'll set it up.
Nice.
That's fucking awesome. Thank you so much.
Now am I your favorite?
By default, yes, of course.
Don't forget that fucking rash that he's got on his forehead.
The good thing, Chris, is you won't have to say a word the entire game because Phil will do all the talking.
Yeah, he won't shut the fuck up. So, yeah.
All right, Chris, we're going to let you go and bring in Pablo Jacques from somewhere in Mexico. And again,
he's downstate, Aldo.
Oh,
of course.
Downstate.
That's right. Chris, thanks a lot for being on with us.
Thank you again.
Take care.
Thanks, Chris.
You, Chris.
That's unbelievable.
Keep in contact with Shayne. He'll get you to communicate with me somehow.
All right.
Upstate.
We do have a open for Mr. Jacques.
Yes, we do.
It's a good one.
Although our voice of Bears Barroom was so afraid to do this, Aldo.
Really?
Yeah, but you can you can update that after.
Okay, let's play it.
Let's see. He should be picking up any second.
You did.
There he is.
He is. Man, he's not wearing orange.
Pablo, where's your orange shirt?
Well, I don't have my orange, but I do have this beauty right here.
That is nice. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
What the fuck was that?
It's a huge Mitch Trubisky blow-up doll, Pablo. That's
so this is a season ticket holder fantasy football trophy.
Oh, look at this guy.
Nice.
Oh, we're gonna have to have him on the fantasy football goon. We can teach those guys a few things because
Well,
I don't think
if
they
you
know.
won, I bet you didn't draft Jordan Howard #1 overall like some dumbass did on the show.
When you go in, you better go all in, not just a tip, Shayne.
Hey, Pablo, we got something special for you to listen to. Check this out.
Perfect.
He's the leader of the Barfly Army Brigade, a true Mexicano. Bears fans, this guy has season tickets and he lives in Mexico, for fuck's sake. He openly left the bar room due to Aldo Gandia's disrespect to Ryan Pace after selecting Mitchell Trubisky as the second overall pick in the 2017 NFL Draft. But he came back to the Bears bar room because, in his own words, there's nothing better on the radio when it comes to Chicago Bears than Phil and Shayne. It only took him 6 months to figure that out, but fuck it, he's back. A true barfly and friend of the show who now hosts his own Spanish-speaking Chicago Bears podcast. So push the SAP button there, barflies. He's the host of Fanaticosos and true friend of the bar room. He's Pablo, the crazy Mexican Jacques. P.S. Can you just give Aldo a break and forgive him, please?
Thank you so much, my brothers. Thank you so much. That was a special intro.
Oh, man, nothing but the best, right, Aldo?
I love that intro. That's one of my favorite Dan Aguire. Who wrote that one?
Of course I did.
That was all Phil. But Phil, you got to
Exactly. That sounds like a rant.
That's right.
You got a couple outtakes though, right, Phil?
Oh, do you want to hear the outtakes?
Uh-oh. Here it comes.
Yeah, it's the best part.
I got to find it.
Pablo, Dan Aguire, the guy who voiced that, is on with us. Dan, are you there?
I'm here.
Say hello to Pablo.
Hiding over in the corner because he doesn't want to hear the fucking outtakes.
the best voice in the room. Awesome.
I did not want to call you the crazy Mexican. They made me do it. Let me just tell you that.
Oh my God! To convince this guy.
For my brother, Phil, everything. You can call me whatever. It's just two friends. Awesome. Hey, but I'm gonna tell you something. I definitely went back to the barroom, and Aldo is the man. We had so much fun last year, didn't we?
We did. Let me tell all of the Barfly Nation out there and all of our new listeners, because we're getting new listeners all the time. Pablo Jacques is one of the most gracious, kind fans you will ever run into. We're at a bar. Draft Dr. Phil is in town. He's doing the world tour here in Chicago and so forth. And Pablo Jacques came out to meet him, and it was instant. It was like seeing family again. It was like being reunited with family that from another country, and they just came over to the United States.
Right.
And then
he was only upstate, Aldo.
That's right. And then Pablo's handing out tickets to because he's got a couple of season tickets to Bears game. He goes, "You get a ticket. You get a ticket. You get a ticket." He's just so damn. It's
Mexican
so damn kind.
Oprah over here.
Exactly. So just a wonderful person, and we're very, very fortunate that he is a true blue barfly and a dedicated listener, and that he has forgiven me for my Mitchell Trubisky rant, which I got to find and play one day, because that thing is talked about more often than it probably should be. But
You, Shayne. You, Phil. You, Jose. You, Lauren. Not Matt Liner.
that was pretty bad. Okay, Pablo. Oh, did you find those outtakes, Phil?
Do you want to hear Dan's outtakes quick?
Yes,
I do.
I think we all do.
Okay.
Phil, I'm about to cut this, but I'm just being honest. Ooh. Pablo, the crazy Mexican? God damn, man. I don't think I can say Pablo, the crazy Mexican. I'm just being honest with you. I don't want to say
Thank you, Dan.
I'm unwilling to cut your script, but dude, I can't. I just can't say the crazy Mexican. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm a little crazy, right? I didn't go to 6 games last year.
So. True story. I go, Aldo. Once again, me and Aldo are sleeping in the same room. Like, this guy is like an energy, like very spiritual.
Yeah.
I have a connection to this guy.
Yeah.
Can you believe he's giving fucking Tooch a ticket? Tooch is fucking balance beam with the wife if he could go or not. And I'm just pumped.
He's making a strawberry shake.
He's making a strawberry shake.
And Tooch didn't go. Tooch didn't go. And
I was so pissed.
My brother Braggs went.
But that's how the Greg Braggs family became into the barroom too, with this whole moment. It's like synergy and spiritual. And this guy, we're just talking about him. And then I was like, he's just fucking crazy because he fucking flies into he's got season tickets to the Bears from Mexico and is just so passionate about it. And his stories and his energy. We were sitting outside and he's blasting Aldo like, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Aldo's negativity. I go, didn't you hear me and Shayne? He's like, I did, but I had to leave. And then I came back. And I'm so glad I came. And then I was like, you're the fucking crazy Mexican. And then Steph, my wife's like, why are you calling him that? I go, he wanted me to call him that because I just said it that time. He's like, no, call me the crazy Mexican. Jim Larison.
All of that is true. All of that is so
Jim
true.
Larison's like, he loves the name Crazy Mexican. I love him.
That is cool. Hey, Pablo, tell us a little bit about the Spanish language podcast that you're doing on the Chicago Bears.
Oh, yes. No, it's an awesome podcast. It's the first and only dedicated podcast in Spanish for the Chicago Bears. Maybe in all the NFL. We've competed last year against other Spanish-speaking podcasts. So it's been an awesome opportunity to join David, Joke, and Toño Contreras. I know Toño is a huge friend of the Barroom. So they founded this podcast almost 2 years ago. Actually, I'm going to tell you a story. The first podcast these guys started with was with the famous John Fox touchdown turned into a touchback challenge. Right?
The challenge.
That game. It was that game, November 2017, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when it all started, and then Toño and David invited me to join them, and it's been an awesome experience to talk football in Spanish, my mother language. Sometimes it's difficult to speak in a different language, so I hope I'm doing a good job.
You're doing a great
Absolutely.
job. Absolutely.
You're doing a great job.
You speak better English than Phil does, Pablo.
And your geography is like. And your geography is a lot better, I bet.
He has better geography. Fucking upstate is Washington. Upstate. We've always said that in Connecticut.
Upstate.
Yeah, above California. It's upstate.
So Pablo, what are your thoughts on the 2019 Chicago Bears? What is your primary concern about the team right now?
So obviously we have great defense, so I'm very, very confident about that. I do not think that the change from Vic Fangio to Pagano is something that worries me at all. I do believe that, for example, Vic Fangio is such a great guy developing guys, and maybe on game day he's not as aggressive. So I do like the idea of Vic Fangio having these guys develop with him for 4 years, and now Chuck Pagano calling the plays on game day. I'm really excited to see how his aggressiveness is going to play out with this amount of talent and a talent that has been developed on those training camps and all those long hours, right? And then I'm an optimist, so I am extremely excited because the room for growth is the offense. And now we've seen, of course, Mitch getting better steadily. Maybe he hasn't had yet the leaps of Mahomes etc. But essentially, as everyone knows, this was or last year was like a rookie season for Mitch in a new offense. So I am definitely expecting a big jump. Tight end is definitely the weakest, in my opinion, the biggest weakness area of the whole team. But I have confidence in Shayne. Hopefully he can stay healthy. He's being bashed because he hasn't gone to some days of training, but at the same time, he was so misused in that first year with Fox that we cannot bash him for that misusage from Logains and Fox, right? So definitely last year was a freak injury in the preseason game against Denver, but I mean, hopefully he's back is back on track, and that weakness becomes a strength with him, right? That's my skin on things.
Aldo,
2019.
We have breaking news.
Breaking news. Do. I'll drop something in there.
New smartest man in the bar room.
Bow down to Pablo.
Pablo breaking it down in Mexico. Mexico. This is your first appearance on 100 Proof, correct?
This is my first appearance. Yes. Well, no. Wait. As you can recall, after the Tampa Bay game, you interviewed me, and it was the first mixed BHL. And by the way, BHL and 100 Proof. It was the mixed episode.
I remember that. We did a what's the word? A combined show, Bears Hour Live and Bears 100 Proof. Yeah, excellent memory, Pablo. Very good.
Little double penetration, huh?
I remember that.
Hey, but by the way, when are the rants of BHL coming back, Aldo? You gotta break the news on that.
Well, we're looking for a guy that can do it.
Are you happy I'm back, Pablo?
Well,
we're gonna have a after the Bears show.
Yeah.
And are we gonna release the new title, Aldo, or are we waiting on that?
No, go for it, Phil. Go ahead.
You are the godfather. I'd rather, because I honestly am skating out of this because I don't remember
because every fucking name that you picked was fucking horrible. You mean?
I picked this fucking name.
Aldo had last call on there. I think we all had last call in our list. Aldo loved our little back and forth. Even wanted our kids to record it.
We're doing that. Fucking finally get me and Shayne out. Pablo got into a fucking. This is what you do when you have this great of a show.
Yeah.
And telling Phil how I don't like his names, and he's coming up with every fucking excuse in the book for why we should use his names. And I'm like, here, how about this? I just don't like the fucking name. Does that make it easier for you?
It's the after party, right? Shane's like, well, what happens if, and I'm not going to ruin the script because we're going to do that. But he's like, what happens if you lose? I go, well, there's sucky after parties. But anyway, go ahead, Aldo.
It is the name of the show is Last Call, and the subtitle. We have a subtitle for it, right?
Yeah, that's why I was going to.
You fucking picked the wrong
Press
guy.
the SAP button, Dan. All I know in Spanish is Budweiser.
Budweiser.
Which Shayne is drinking.
All right, so it is called. Some of the stuff that you guys wrote here is so fucking.
Aldo woke up to it. Or
oh
were
my
you
God,
at a camp or something?
We were going for about a half an hour straight, just fucking riffing back and forth, being silver. Aldo comes on and is like, Jesus Christ, we got to have your kids reenact this.
Yes, that's what we're going to do. Reenact, hopefully a week or two, the most.
Yeah, That's going to be awesome. So it is called Last Call, the Bears Barroom post-game show. And so what we are planning on doing is after every Chicago Bears game, we're going to go on immediately after the game. In the past, we used to go on at 10 p.m., Danny Shimon and I. And Danny is going to be working on Draft on Tap, which is a show dedicated to keeping an eye on all of the college football prospects. He and Shayne and Berlissimo and Ryan Badgley are part of that show. And so
I had to give you the college fight song.
There you go. Well done. And so the idea here is, everybody is always clamoring for Draft Dr. Phil's opinion on the game, and I go, let's give it to our followers immediately after the game. So
you get enough
that
of
is
it.
great news. That is great news.
Yeah,
hot take rant.
Exactly.
Awesome.
There it. See.
Exactly.
Fucking thank you, Pablo. I'm fucking glad you're here. Dan, go ahead.
Thanks for joining us, Pablo. Talk to you later.
I already can hear Dan. He has an opinion on my rant, though. Go ahead, Dan. I already hear it. So you might as well come in and say it. Go ahead.
The rant was always better when it was impromptu and you're sort of freestyling, in my opinion, versus
I agree, Dan. That fucking scripted bullshit.
Yeah, and the music drowned it out, too.
Right.
I liked it better when you were just going, man, like with no audio behind it, just dry. You just go.
Go bareback, motherfucker.
Bareback.
I like the music, but I promise you, I'll just go.
The fucking post game. Listen,
I'm not writing anything on
all
that.
that needs to be said about the post game. Lawrence Holmes and Lance Briggs aren't on it, so it's going to be fucking.
I'm gonna have a rant out. There you go.
Well,
yes, Pablo. Look at you breaking.
Let's call you a racist for saying that.
No way.
That was Shayne controversy number 2.
I got yelled at by the old man on that one. I thought, oh my God, Shayne, what the fuck are you doing?
I thought it was more of a check-in with you. Like, what the fuck is going on?
You knew Phil and I we were having a meeting at the Score or about the Score or something, right? Something along those lines. You're going to talk to somebody. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I pissed Aldo off.
No. What is perfect about it is that Phil gets so worked up during a game, and that high emotion that he has carries over after the game. I mean, there have been times where we're text messaging after a game, and it could be a loss, it could be a win, and the fucking text, the phone is starting to heat up because Phil's thoughts are like, this motherfucker, I couldn't believe that call or whatever. So we're going to capture that in audio, and we're trying to figure out something with video too. If we get that, you'll actually get to see the fire coming out of Phil's nostrils when he's talking about the game. But the idea is to capture the thoughts immediately after. We'll try to break in with the post-game press conferences as well. Matt Karstensen is also going to be a part of the show. Shayne is going to try to join us on some shows. So we will have some surprises as well. So we're looking forward to it. Last Call, the Bears Barroom post-game show is the name of it. Another news show for the Bears Barroom Radio Network. All right.
Excellent.
Insert sound effect there.
You've been doing re-engineering. I love the new show from Gregor Braggs. That's awesome. Chai fans in the stands.
No, Pablo. That's not what it's called.
Say it right.
Chai fans.
I'll at least get you to say it right.
You can't give Joe Mando.
Chai fans.
There you go. Chai fans.
So how is it that Joe says it?
Joe says chai, like chai tea.
Let me pull it up.
I can't believe
play him the fucking thing that I did.
You know why Joe does that, right? Because Joe,
he's white.
Well, that's part of it. But Joe lives in Chinatown.
There you go.
No, it's true. It's true. He lives in Chinatown, Chicago's Chinatown. So I bet you he's incorporated that. That's my guess.
I think it's because he's white, Aldo.
That too.
Hi.
Here you go. I got it right here, Phil. Sorry, Two Scoops. Well, when he first did it the first time, I think me and Bobby texted the first time. I'm like, this motherfucker saying chai? And then Joe's like, well, yeah, that's what it is. It's chai. And I'm like,
no, it's not.
Fuck is shy.
It's Chi-town.
Shy
Literally,
Francis
Greg Brax is
Sands.
like coaching him. It's shy.
Oh,
Yeah.
Shy.
you guys been killing it in training camp.
Oh, yeah.
Doing a great job. That Gandiva.
Where,
He
else,
didn't
where
even-
else are you going to get fucking bachelorette information? Training camp. Right when I tuned in, I'm like, what is this motherfucker doing?
He didn't
Talking about the
throw-
final.
Hey,
Literally,
Barfly's tonight. We're gonna be recording 100 Proof, your favorite show. He didn't even do that, Shayne. Shayne texted me the other day. He's like, "Fucking these motherfuckers all get fucking hoodies now. Me and you still get shit."
So you saw that, me and Alyssa talking about the Bachelorette on our Bears Barroom Twitter account?
I looked down, I'm like, ooh, Aldo's going live. So I click on it, and he's like, I gotta ask you, Alyssa. And then I'm like, did he? They're at fucking training camp. They're talking about the Bachelorette. What the fuck is this?
He brought it together.
Yeah, he did. But that's right when I tuned in. Was right then, right when he first started talking about it.
He brought it together, Aldo.
I knew people were going to tune in right when I was asking her the question about.
I did.
And let me tell you something. Alyssa and her dad, I had lunch with them over at Bourbonnais. What a great duel. These two were talking about Chicago Bears football, the history. Alyssa's dad has been following the Bears since the 70s. And just, we had such a great time talking Chicago Bears football. And she's a great, great writer for BearsWire.com. If you haven't been following her on there, you really should. And she's going to be a part of the Bears Barroom Radio Network working with Buffon 55. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But a great couple, the Barbieri family.
Nice.
He's making a strawberry shake.
I just like it.
There's an Easter egg with that one. That's not even Tooch's wife. I know who that one is.
Hey, Pablo, I know that you are in awe sometimes at the intelligence of Shayne Marsaw and Draft Dr. Phil, their football acumen. So I'm going to kind of turn it over to you. You have any questions for the guys? You want to debate them on any particular topic? You just want to just pick their brains on anything?
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Aldo. Well, first, I'm going to ask you a question.
Oh.
Jeez, I'm on the spot.
I'd be willing to suck Aaron Rodgers' dick.
Exactly that.
Not you, Jay.
So,
Talk about
you saw the words right out of my mouth. No. How do you feel about Ryan Pace right now? And about that 2017 draft that, of course, you bashed after.
I'll send you the link, Pablo. It's documents.
I'm trying to destroy all the copies of that. Well,
I'm the Ryan Pace guy on this whole fucking show. Everybody else hated him.
We're smart people.
Exactly. I think that Ryan Pace was when he first joined the Chicago Bears, I think he was handcuffed by Ernie Arcasey and the Chicago Bears management, and he was stuck with John Fox and the unfortunate chore of trying to win immediately as opposed to rebuilding the team immediately in the image that he wanted. He probably wanted a young football coach. He probably wanted a young quarterback to start the rebuilding, but they still had Jay Cutler on the contract, and Ernie Arcasey was telling the Bears management, now that we have Ryan Pace, this young, bright GM, we need to bring in an old football coach to help balance that off. And so I think Ryan Pace got saddled at the beginning with a bad situation. And I think it took him a while to kind of right the ship. What I've seen the last few years of Ryan Pace, I am really impressed at. He's built a personnel department, the scouting department in his image, and they've made great choice after great choice. Yeah, there have been a couple of defects here and there. The Adam Shayne thing is starting to become worrisome for me and some other fans. But for the most part, the eye for talent has been sensational. He swung for the fences with Khalil Mack. He went after his quarterback. I still think that he should have gone after Patrick Mahomes 1 and Deshaun Watson 2 and Trubisky 3rd or 4th. But he as the guys have said, as Phil and Shayne have said over and over again, he at least identified his quarterback and he went out and got it. And for that, you got to applaud the guy, which is what I did not do that night when he made that pick. But in hindsight, being 2020, he did what was right for him. So I love Ryan Pace right now. I'm in love with him. He's built a team that's capable of winning the Super Bowl this year, and so I've got no problems with him whatsoever.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm of course a huge Ryan Pace supporter, so completely agree. So, smartest man, how worried are you about our secondary?
I'm worried about Prince Amukamara. I've talked about it a number of times on this show and other places, offline. I've talked about it with Phil quite a bit. I'm not a big Prince believer. He's had a good camp so far, but I feel like, to me, he's the weak link on this entire defense. When they attack him, he's very, very grabby, as everybody knows, and I think you started to see that a little bit more towards the end of the season. Teams were attacking him deep. Kyle Fuller was the guy that was targeted most of the season, and he stepped up to the challenge, but I think Prince is going to be that guy with the bullseye on his helmet this year, so that does give me pause. But the thing that I like is you see guys like Duke Shelley and Kevin Tolliver and these young guys stepping up in his absence, because we've talked about it here. This is Prince's last year in Chicago, just because of the contract and the way that's going to go. Age is another factor there. But it does give me some pause there, because it's say what you want, the NFL is a passing league, and the division that we're in with Stafford, with Cousins, with Aaron Rodgers,
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, there's going to be footballs flying all over the place, and I think a lot of them are going to be on Prince Amukamara's side of the field.
Oh, Shayne, it's true. You are the smartest man in the bar room.
Thanks, Dan.
It's the smartest man.
Turn on.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, Shayne. I do think that since our front seven is magnificent, then of course the secondary is gonna have a lot of help, as they did last year. So, but I do think it's worrisome. Whenever we didn't have Eddie Jackson in that Eagles game, that secondary got gashed exactly at the worst time, right? So, if we gotta worry about something, that defense, definitely see how the two free safeties play out. Of course, Eddie Jackson is just a premier player, right? But ultimately, it's two free safeties over there. So
exactly.
Also, that's worrisome.
You see the biggest play on defense, the biggest down on defense last year was 4th and goal versus Philly, and where did they go? They attacked Sherrick McManus, and that's what smart football teams are going to do. You're going to attack a weakness, and I'm not saying that Sherrick didn't step up, but in the Bears defense last year, that was the weakness there, and they exploited it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And then what do you expect from the offense, Phil? I have huge expectations of growth year 2 in the Matt Nagy offense. I love your breakdown on the offense. Expectations 2019.
We really want Phil back.
Yes, Heidi. No, in all honesty,
we don't give a fuck.
I love it. Yeah, that's coming next. But in all honesty,
what the fuck is that? What?
Jesus, Dan, go on mute.
202. Mitch Trubisky on tape. The nerds aren't fucking gonna sell you this or serve this, but on tape, you look at what the offense is being asked to do in year one with the personnel learning along with the young quarterback. It's not like they all knew it, and here's this young kid that they just drafted while they put in the system, and he's got to catch up. They're all learning together. So the growth in year two, if you're a good or well-coached football team, is going to naturally occur. It's going to naturally happen. You already see there's no clicks. There's none of this bullshit that goes along. You see them talking about this book of the, the Australian rules football team or whatever they are. The black, what are they called, Aldo? The black, what a great article you shared with me.
Yeah, let me look that up real quick.
Yeah, so they're pulling these, all teams need something to stand on. We talked about how boring the coaching of the past with Tressman planning everything to the parade. He forgot to plan the game plan and use the right personnel. You talk about Dick Duran and how stale he was, and Lovey and how he never just gave you the truth, and Fox the same way, all mumbling and stuttering over what they're hiding, the inevitable loss and no understanding of culture on a football team, not just a defense, not just an offense, but a football team. This guy gets it, and I think Mitch Trubisky at the forefront of it is becoming a freaking great leader of young men. And that kind of growth in the offense, the X's and O's, as well as the personality. He talks different when I see him on the press conference. It's just now that BU is kind of rubbed off. And now if you're being you in the offense, where Coach Nagy's going out and said it, he's throwing his cards on the table. That's why I don't understand why they can't let fucking Braggs film the fuck. Who gives a fuck? It's coming, stop it. A highlight play in fucking training. I don't want to go off on that, but I want to say this. The coach gets it. He sees it, and he sees his young quarterback being the voice he doesn't have to be. If that's not the best sign a young football team could have, like as a coach, if my quarterback is taking over the huddle and is like, no, fucking Taylor, you need to run 16 yards, break, and then I want you going straight out to the flag. That's where I'm going to hit you. That's what I want to see. If he's doing that and everybody is universally listening to him, the respect that he's going to command, as well as the offense itself, is just inevitable. So the excitement listen, I said it last year. Fucking kid is way better. If you had to choose Jared Goff or Mitch Trubisky, Aldo, who would you choose?
Oh my
honestly,
God. Mitch Trubisky, without a doubt.
Exactly. And he's not in. It's Kirk Cousins right now, guys, or Mitch Trubisky.
Oh,
no bias.
Go ahead, Pablo. You
Mitch
answer that one. Of course, right?
So, one question, Phil. Are we going to win because of the defense, or are we going to win because of a balanced team?
That's a great question.
I honestly think for the first time in a long time, since Dan Aguire came in a wet dream.
That was October 27th, 1995.
Jim McMahon had an offense that was first in the NFL. A lot of people forget that, right, Dan? They forget that the 85 Bears and the 84 Bears were top 10 offenses. And you have a team that doesn't have a weakness. As you said, the weakness is the tight end. And the whole team, you're not even talking about a kicker yet, like the national media. Aldo's excited about the competition. This girl, Barbieri, Melissa, right? Alyssa, sorry. Edit that shit. Alyssa Barbieri. She's excited. She came in as a pessimist, as a soccer mom. Like, what the fuck is kicking? Right?
Well, we are not going to need a kicker.
Exactly. The competition is going. We don't know. The kicker could be. People are saying the kicker's on another team. The kicker's in Cleveland. I heard someone say. We don't know, but I know that they're doing their due diligence, Daniel. And that is something they haven't done. And this team with the offense, David Montgomery, fucking Tariq Cohen in the second year in this offense, used appropriately. Then the other kid, Davis, standing out in practice, Aldo. So you get a running game strong that's able to catch passes. David Montgomery is going to be a fucking superstar. Trust me.
Yep.
I know a thing or two about backs. I do. So Shayne could laugh. I know Jordan Howard's being a standout in Philly. We'll see what he does. I will never, ever go away from what Jordan Howard was and is. But this offensive philosophy, David Montgomery was the absolute perfect fit. So you add him into this equation, and you're not going to be relying. I think that where so many teams from Chicago, just like you are leading in this question, I don't think the offense is the handicap anymore. And I think the first fucking giant step to bring, closure to the season the way it did was that drive going down with Allen Robinson and him missing a pass earlier in the game and then hitting that pass to Allen Robinson and getting us in scoring and field goal range to win. I just think that confidence is carrying over into this season and that this team is united. No one's pointing fingers. And this, I just think this is, I don't understand how these pundits at Aldo, these are worried about the Bears. Like I don't, how does the number one defense in all of football and an ascending offense that was in the playoff all of a sudden just go away? It's just,
here's where we go to our hubism for the week, Phil. Our hubism, Mr. Hub Arkish.
Yeah.
I was listening to his pod the other day, and this is exactly what he said. I sit back and I'm watching this Bears defense just come in and dominate and not miss a step, and they're actually more aggressive. And I get so excited, but my excitement stops a little bit because I look out there and I see our quarterback that's struggling. Well,
struggling in practice?
Against the number one defense in the NFL. Nobody ever says that. Mitch isn't going to be facing that defense in games.
True.
The other thing to this is this whole practice analogy and analysis of drops and woes and worries and interceptions. And that's what practice is for. Your asses are just allowed to come and watch it now. This is when we fucking work on shit. Hey. Look at what you did on tape wrong, Kyle, and fix it tomorrow. If you don't, the head coach, what did he say, Shayne?
Do you want me to prove your point, Phil? And
yes.
You guys can all play away. Dan, you can chime in here too. I'm going to read some headlines for you guys.
Go ahead.
How concerning are these interceptions in training camp?
He's a fucking idiot.
Stop worrying about all of these training camp interceptions. The quarterback is plagued by mistakes in training camp. The quarterback works through growing pains in multi-interception practice. High interception total at camp is starting to become a concern. The quarterback is having a rough training camp, has thrown 7 interceptions and 6 touchdowns.
Oh my God.
How do you
real? Wait,
no, I'm not done yet.
To interceptions and touchdowns?
Listen, though. So all of those negative headlines.
Okay.
Now let me tell you about this. Those were the headlines for Patrick Mahomes last year in training camp.
Oh!
Yeah, nicely done, smartest man.
Yeah, well, that was provided to me by.
Yes.
Exactly. That was provided to me by fellow nerd Dustin Reagan Padilla. But yeah, it just goes to show you that these guys just want to put that stuff out there. Mm-hmm. Training. Phil? You've been a coach.
Yep.
Where did you want your quarterback to throw interceptions? Did you want him to throw them in the games, or did you want him to throw them in practice?
In practice.
Isn't that something? Isn't that crazy?
You know what?
A novel fucking concept.
In the history of football,
yeah,
a practice interception has never counted for shit.
Yeah.
It actually just helped you be a better coach. Because you were able to say, oh, your right foot, maybe you were off with your timing here. Oh, Mr. fucking Hall, young rookie that ran the wrong route here. Look what you did.
Yeah.
What's his name? Rick Morrissey?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Or just say Dan Wiederer now.
Dan Wiederer is now going to write a story about this interception on your boy Mitch right there. Not you.
Dan Wiederer talked about Mitch in camp today on the radio, and he said,
I heard that.
You know, we're just in a roller coaster ride with Mitch for this entire season. You know, there's going to be ups and what the fuck are you talking about?
I was gonna call in but I hate calling into radio shows because you wait for fucking an hour and then they don't put you on. But yeah,
or you fucking wait for an hour and have a shitty phone, Greg Braggs. But
hey, the name of that rugby team is called the All Blacks, and they're the subject of a book written by James Kerr called Legacy. And that book was read by Matt Nagy while he was on vacation, and he's provided the Bears with copies of the book and catchphrases from the book so that they can become better leaders. Basically, the premise of the book is that leaders create leaders, and there's about 16 different catchphrases like "sweep the shed," which is that you should keep your locker room clean when you show up. You know, don't leave it a mess. Keep it clean and so forth, and that creates a leadership mentality. It's another way that Matt Nagy is creating a culture with the Chicago Bears of accountability and responsibility and creating leaders. It sounds like a really good book to read. Pablo, listen, I've got to move on. I got Greg Braggs on hold. We got to bring him in. I want to tell you again how much we appreciate your loyalty to Bears Barroom, and I can't wait to see you in an upcoming game. Give you a great big Latino hug. You know, the way two heterosexual males do.
Can we get Pablo to do a station ID?
Oh, yes. I love that idea, but you got to do it in Spanish.
What are we gonna do? Well, I'm gonna do one English version,
okay?
Yeah,
and then one Spanish version. So you're the only guest that will ever do two different.
That's right.
You have to say, "This is Pablo Jacques." Yes. Dan, the crazy Mexican. And you are listening to Bears Barroom's 100 Proof, and you could put Phil, Shayne, and Aldo in it, or you could just end it there.
In other words, do whatever you like.
Do whatever you want.
Pressure's on, Pablo. Don't fuck it up.
5, 4, 3.
Fucker can count too. Sorry.
This guy's a professional.
He does. All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
This is Pablo Jacques, the crazy Mexicano, and you are listening to Bears Hour Live, Bears Barroom Radio Network, the best podcast in the world. Is that fine?
You got
Bears Hour Live hasn't been on in like 6 months.
Yeah. You gotta say Bears 100 Proof. Just say it. Aldo will edit it in there.
Or you can do it again. I know he wants to do a second take. Go ahead.
Okay, do a second. That was really good, though.
My heart was really waiting for a Bears Hour Live thing, and now we don't have that. And
last call is coming. It's gonna be your new favorite, second favorite.
This is Pablo Jacques, the crazy Mexicano. You are listening to Bears 100 Proof on the best podcast network in the world. Is that fine? No?
I like it.
I like it.
That was good.
Thank you.
I thought you were going Bears Barroom Radio. You were gonna fit.
I should have done that. Yeah, but
that's all right.
I can edit that in.
Edit that and
Pero ahora tiene que ser uno en español.
Ay, papi, I did not know you could do it like that. You can edit that in there at the end.
Hola amigos, soy Pablo Jacques, el crazy mexicano, y están escuchando el mejor show, el mejor podcast de los Osos de Chicago en inglés, Bears 100 Proof, de Bears Barroom Radio Network, y también los invitamos a escuchar Fanaticosos en español.
Perfect. Excellent.
Awesome.
And Pablo, tell people where they can follow you on Twitter.
You can follow me at Osos Chicago, and then my personal it's at I am Pablo Jacques. So
excellent.
Both of those. So thank you so much, Aldo, Phil, Shayne, smartest man. It's been a blast talking Bears.
And say goodbye to Dan Aguire, because if you don't, his feelings will be hurt.
Bye, Dan.
Nice to talk with you, sir.
Goodbye, brothers.
Yes, sir.
Give him one.
Bye,
Make
have a great
100.
Okay, Pablo, bye-bye.
Pablo Jacques.
Hey, Aldo, if you can hear this, I've got a message for all of you from Heidi.
Oh, good.
Try to play a drop for you.
From Mexico heavy tonight.
Yes, straight from Mexico, live from Mexico.
I don't hear anything.
Can't hear it?
No,
we can't.
Just straight off the phone.
Do it straight off the phone, Dan.
Sorry, I thought it would go through the same on-air pot there, the way the Skype is. So, anyway, here it goes. Let's play it like.
Hola, hola. This is Heidi. I just want to say hello to Aldo, Shayne, and Phil, and of course, the man Dan. And have a beautiful night.
There it is.
Say hi. She was glad that that you all were doing the show. So
what a sexy voice she has. Oh my God.
We all want Phil back.
Can I quantify something I said earlier?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
When I was asking about Mac, the reason my question was I don't really think that he disappeared and all that. I was just in my own head. It worries me when somebody on my team is getting a lot of praise. Because it feels like I always heard about how great Julius Peppers was, and I never saw shit from him. I did in Carolina. I did in Green Bay. I don't remember seeing anything from him in Chicago. So when I saw Mac was number 3, I was like, oh, God, I hope he's not one of these guys that just gets all this praise and then doesn't back it up. But again, I believe in him. I'm just saying I'm full of anxiety on things like that.
You have a lot of anxiety in your life, don't you?
We don't give a fuck.
I do. I've got court coming up in 11 days now. Let me set you up. Let me play point guard here, Aldo. So you've gone to training camp, right?
Yes, I have.
All right. So obviously we're hearing about Mitch is looking okay, but let's go elsewhere. This is something I was wanting to ask you all about because I don't follow other teams per se during the regular season so much as I do just the Bears. Mm-hmm. So I'm hearing that Kevin Pierre Louis, whatever the fuck, he's doing well. Okay, tell me about him and what you've seen from him because I don't know who this guy is whatsoever.
Yeah, special teamer.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's about all I know because frankly, he has not stood out to me.
You can't say he's a special teamer, though, because Danny Trevathan seems to get hurt a lot. Last year he didn't. But who's going to be the backup inside linebacker is what I'm trying to get out of Trevathan were to get hurt.
I think you've got Nick Kwiatkowski, who people aren't enamored with because he's not as fast as the two other guys that can play that position, Joel Iyiegbuniwe. And,
look at him.
And Josh.
Look at you.
And Josh Woods, who has been standing out in my eyes. Josh has been playing really well. Joel is playing well too, but I got it right now in my mind say that Josh is playing a bit at a bit higher level than Joel. Joel is going to make this team. He's a special teams standout. He's just Greg just tried to call me, and try calling him again, and so anyway, I don't really have a problem with the inside linebacker position. I really don't. I think, yes, Danny Trevathan gets banged up because of his hyper-aggressive style, and so, he'll miss a couple of games this season. But if Joel Iyiegbuniwe or Josh Woods has to go in and play that position, and Nick Kwiatkowski has been having a good camp too. Nick appears to me to be anticipating plays better in camp than he did a year ago. And he doesn't have that speed, but sometimes players can make up for that, lack of top-notch speed by just being smarter. And Nick appears to be doing that. And, he's playing for a contract. So he's going balls out. So those three guys, Woods, Iyiegbuniwe, and Kwiatkowski, we have no problem with the backup inside linebacker position.
Well, shifting to the outside, I've heard someone say that Lynch is going to get cut or is on the bubble. What do you think about that?
I haven't heard that. I think Shayne brought it up the other day. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if it happens because some of that outside linebacker depth with these younger guys is impressive. But I think it's still too early to speculate about that. What's going to happen over the next 4 weeks is all of the starters are going to see very little playing time. And so the Aaron Lynches are going to go up against the Isaiah Irvings and the Kylie Fitts and those guys. Those guys are really all going to win their jobs in these 4 preseason games because they're going to see the majority of the time playing out there. You're going to see very little of the starters. And so I think, Matt Nagy puts a lot of value on the practices, but he puts that value mostly on the starters because that's where they're going to get prepared for the season. They're not necessarily going to get prepared in their preseason games. It's the backups that are going to win spots in the preseason games.
Well, Phil, here's a question.
He's stealing my thunder because I wanted to go back to the middle linebacker, and Aldo's eloquently saying, fans, please understand, practice is fucking practice. All these depth charts and conversations, who stood out, the games, the scrimmages, the glorified games are going to tell the story of who's backing up. Aldo, you said it perfectly. The competition begins there because yeah, great. Josh looks great. And I'm just using Josh as an example. I can't wait to see Josh Woods. I fucking will not miss one snap in preseason. I'm not the blog, the orange pants, even though we're all wearing orange shirts. But I'm not that. Every fucking rep counts for me because I'm analyzing their play. And what do you fucking think Nagy's doing? He's turning off the fucking game tape because it's fucking if you're following someone analyzing football like that, you're fucking doing it wrong.
And I'll say this.
Fucking rep in the scrimmage are going to define who's better. Nick Kwiatkowski, because Nick Kwiatkowski in college had quick twitch and was speed. I don't know if he fucking did a fucking steroid thing, but he fucking blew up, Shayne. He looked like he was slow and fucking mechanical. He was the weakness in that first Green Bay game. That fucking second half performance, third down, where's Kwiatkowski? That's where Rodgers was attacking on those shallow cross. He was a weakness. He needs to step up his game, to Aldo's point. He's going to define that, yes, in practice, but the games are going to define all of these outside linebackers and inside. Go ahead, Shayne.
I'll say this about the inside linebacker position. Everybody knows my feelings on Josh Woods. But in terms of Pierre Lewis, this is a guy that Phil and I have talked about for a long time. Mm-hmm. He's going to surprise a lot of people when when they're playing the games. Because he's going to get a lot of... This kid is... You talk about the lack of speed with Kwiatkowski. That's not going to be a problem with Pierre Lewis. He's going to go out there and he's going to make plays. He's not going to be a guy that's going to be a starter, but he's going to be a extremely valuable backup, and he's going to be one of those guys that gets a Pro Bowl nod on special teams. Remember those linebackers back in the day that we always used to have every year?
I am Bodagio.
That's right.
That's what he is, and he's gonna come in and get you some snaps in a game if you need it. He will surprise people in these preseason games. I'm telling you right now.
Speaking of preseason games, let me serve you all up here. We're transitioning. I wanted to say this when Aldo was talking because he was talking about the preseason games. Not everyone's going to play. But that goes to the question. Last year, Mitch didn't play in the Kansas City game, and everyone shit their pants over it, if you recall, including me. I was like, well, he's got to get ready.
I was in it.
Me too.
So what do you think happens this year? I mean, obviously he's not playing maybe a series in Carolina. The last game's out. Maybe it's the first half. What's going to happen? We want him ready for Green Bay, but based upon the precedent from last year, he may not play in the third game, right?
Aldo just told you. He started. None of the starters are going to play much.
He's not going to play. I've gone into the corner of the Ottochian house, and I've had a conversation with myself. And I said,
this is the one thing that drives me. This is the one thing that I do not like about this roster. Is going to be the setup for the preseason. I wish that the Bears had a guy at quarterback behind Mitch, lower on the depth chart, that has some tools to work with that they think that they might be able to build a future with. Chase Daniels is not that guy. No, Tyler Bray is not that guy. So you're going to go through the entire preseason with these guys, with Bray and Chase. I would much rather see a kid out there that they have a little bit of belief in moving forward, because the more money that the Bears spend, and yes, the cap is fluid, you're not going to be able to pay Chase $7-8 million to back up Mitch. So that's just one more thing.
Kyle Lort, remember in 2005, he was a 4th-round pick and was playing in that the Hall of Fame game against the Dolphins. Of course, Rex ended up getting hurt in St. Louis, but you want a guy like that's drafted 4th or 5th round that could play the majority of the reps, because, again, at least he's earning or learning on the job.
Yeah, and it doesn't even have to be a guy that's drafted. There's guys out there that you just have to have some talent to work with. And, do the Bears feel like it's Bray? I don't think so. I think Chase is here essentially as an extension of a coach for Mitch, and a guy that can be your spot starter like we saw in Detroit and in New York, which he was the reason, in my opinion, that we lost in New York. But yeah,
Aldo, you were there. I don't mean to cut you off, Shayne. I'm just trying to do my part. Aldo, you were at camp. Did Montgomery not be able to? Is he not able to pick up the blitz thus far? Is that what I'm kind of inferring from people, that he's doing well, but it looks like early in the season, Davis could be getting a playing time because of that. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. And my opinion is based on drills that I've seen, and he was just getting overwhelmed on a few plays there by Roquan Smith. And now, again, I mean, this guy is facing the elite defenders in football.
That kid, he's a star.
Right. But, in comparison with Mike Davis, it was clear that Davis is much better prepared at pass blocking than Montgomery is. The great thing about Montgomery is that he has that leadership mentality. Leaders create leaders, and he's going to get better at it. He's the type of guy. I'll give you an example. I forgot who the defender was that got by him, and they in the drill you've got like about 2.5 seconds. The defender has 2.5 seconds to get past the running back who's blocking and touch a cone, and so Montgomery.
Was it Kwiatkowski?
Yeah, I think it was Kwiatkowski. And so Montgomery was unable to hold him. And, man, Montgomery was pissed off at himself, just livid that he did not get the job done. And then in the next rep, he did better. And then the next rep, a little better. And so, that's the kid, and you just got to love that mentality. And the other thing you got to love about him is he was on NFL Network with Tariq Cohen, and Tariq just called him a gangster running back, saying this guy's going to get the tough yards and stuff. I wish I should have pulled that clip because it was pretty awesome.
Maybe pull it, because I didn't see that. But
bring some gangster to the team.
He run the ball physical, so he run the ball gangster. So you feel me? That's what he brings to the team.
That's a good thing. And as Mike Rob said, no one made more people miss in college football last year than David Montgomery. These are two parts of the three-headed running back monster that the Bears have here in their backfield. David Montgomery and...
Isn't that to be expected, Aldo? Here's a veteran.
What practice is for.
Exactly. The practice to make perfect. These things don't come, out of nowhere and fall out of the sky.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message. I love you. Now, back to our show.
Best defense in the National Football League. Now, Roquan Smith, who I believe was, so overlooked in regards to what he did his rookie season. I know a lot of praise is going to the fucking Dallas Cowboys linebacker, but I'll tell you this, looking at his growth and his ability, I just think here's another cat on this defense that's going to stand out and giving Montgomery that look is only going to help David as he goes up against the Carolina Panthers and is going to look at their linebackers coming in on a blitz. Did he pick it up? You're not worried about the fucking 6-yard out your quarterback is throwing. You watching that rep to see if David is doing what he's supposed to with the right technique. So it all begins in practice. You saw Aldo. To your point, Aldo, he has the Khalil Mack in him at running back. It mattered to him. Fucking pissed him off. That's a coach's dream right there. Yep, now I'm going to break his balls a little bit on the film. I'm going to push him a little bit. We're going to fucking watch the bad rep. We're not giving him the good rep. Let's watch the bad. Look, you fucked up here. Fucking white boy, quick. Beat your ass up. What happened there? And then get on him. And the next time, watch that motherfucker drop somebody. And you learn. Get your ass low with technique. Let him come to you. You are the fucking impetus of the staple in there. You're the back. Let the fucking linebacker come to you, stay low, and knock his ass down. That's
Who else would you want him to be learning from? Facing Roquan Smith and Khalil Mack and Danny Trevathan every fucking day in practice. Of course he's going to struggle, but that's exactly what you want. You want him to get in there and learn against these guys.
Exactly. You got to be excited about it.
Hey, I'm trying to call Greg because he is, he and I are fucking playing phone.
We're over the rainbow. Greg.
I got some DVDs in the morning, actually. Greg.
1-9-7-6-7-1 is not available. The mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages at this time. Goodbye.
Fucking mailbox.
Wasn't he trying to answer on Skype? He's got a Skype address.
Yeah, but I call it and he doesn't pick up. And
oh, Madonna me, this motherfucker. What is he doing? Is that Greg?
The mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages at this time. Goodbye.
God damn it. What about Javon Wims?
Let me tell you something. Incredibly impressive. Incredibly impressive.
Really?
Yes. He and today, Marvin Hall was like on fucking fire.
Somebody pointed him out on this show a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Please leave your message for 509.
I don't know who that 509 is.
There he is.
There he is.
Jeez, he's wearing blue. What a dickhead. It's orange night.
Oh, my God. Orange night.
Chicago.
Jesus Christ. What were you doing? Were you changing a diaper in that time frame? We're trying
absolutely not. She's fast asleep. And even if she was, I wouldn't have been anyway.
Is your microphone charged?
Yes, sir.
He doesn't even sound like he's near a mic. Sounds far away.
Hey, Greg, before we get into your proper introduction and all that, Dan Aguire is also with us, and he asked me how Javon Wims has looked in practice. Why don't you handle that question?
Oh, he has been one of the standouts. There's no question about it. I mean, every day, after the first 3 days, I said in the rain, I felt like the ball didn't hit the ground every time, and they're throwing to him a lot. But whether it's 1-on-1s or 7-on-7s, and then obviously in 11-on-11s, he's lighting it up. Deep balls, underneath stuff, sideline stuff. He's displaying hands. Even today he had a crossing route where I believe it was Chase Daniel that hit him, and you could see that speed. I feel like his speed is so underappreciated because he doesn't look fast, but he is fast, and he's big too. And he's just a guy that really knows how to get that jump ball that almost Randy Moss-esque, the way he can come back and get a jump ball after he's already burned a guy. He knows how to come back around his defender, and you're seeing it. I mean, he's definitely, I think, primed to have a breakout season this year. You're seeing him being thrown to more than even guys like Anthony Miller. I mean, Anthony Miller last year at training camp was the guy. And this year, it's a lot more Javon Wims than we're seeing of him or Turbo at this point. Turbo's getting some stuff, but it's been the Javon Wims show. He continued that again today. At one point, he got hurt, and me and Aldo got real scared for a second because he was limping pretty hard, but you could tell he was trying to get off on his own power, and he was actually able to finish practice, went back out on the field. And, yeah, he's showing everything. He showed toughness there. He's showing ability. He's definitely shown that he's, learned the offense, run more of the, route tree, so to speak. But
now where, I'm as hungry as that.
Yeah, so.
Who was that, Phil? Was that one of yours?
Sorry, that was an accident.
That's okay.
So, yeah, he's lighting it up.
So it's only August the 1st, but gun to your head, if he's not injured, is Wims playing? He's active against the Packers then, right?
I would 100% think so. I think the real question at this point when it comes to the wide receiver group is how many wide receivers they keep. A lot of people are saying 6, but I think they're keeping 7. That's my personal opinion. I think there will be 7 active wide receivers and then 1 on the practice squad. There's just too much talent, and they can't pick through these guys. Riley Ridley we have not even seen yet, and they've got all these other guys like Marvin Hall making noise out here, and and then who's going to be the practice squad prospect that they want to keep? I mean, Manuel Hall or other guys. They can just have so many options, and it'd be hard when you have Allen Robinson and Taylor Gabriel as veterans, and you want to bring that next wave of the future. You don't want to cut bait on a bunch of guys you're invested in, and they're invested in a lot of these guys.
Well, Javon Wims was a guy taking a step. He was a huge fucking, what we call it, Shayne? He was the anti-Mike Burton for me.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking Burton's in the game, but
whenever he got in there, he made a play. It didn't matter.
Then in that Viking game, was it Vikings, right?
It was the Vikings, right?
8 receptions, and they weren't shit receptions. They were all critical, third down. He's making the play away from his body.
Defense in Minnesota, too.
That vaunted defense. It's scary.
Well,
I think Greg brings up a great point with the actual numbers that are going to be at the wide receiver position, and I think now you're seeing a guy like Emmanuel Hall that, nursing the potential hamstring and dealing with his hernia and stuff like that, but he's not really practicing. He's obviously, to me, going to be a kid that's going to be stored on IR for the year. This stuff with Riley Ridley, the longer that it goes, you're going to see him be possibly an in-season pup candidate.
Yep.
That's going to get you to week 6, 7, or 8. That's going to buy you some more time, to Greg's point, to keep some of these other guys to maybe that they can either hang themselves or separate themselves, because we talked about it on here. How are you cutting a guy like Marvin Hall if he keeps up what he's doing? That brings you special teams explosion plus elite deep speed where he can take the top off of a defense. How do you cut that?
Karith White.
Well, he got hurt today. That's something that we haven't talked about.
We got don't go there yet.
Right?
Don't go there.
What was that, Dan?
I heard it was his foot and his hamstring.
That is correct. Foot sprain and a hammy. So, yeah, Kareth White is headed for the IR. Bank on it. And
Aldo's taking his preseason shot early.
I am.
From 3.
Because the guy is impressive. There's no doubt about it. And he deserves a longer look. If he's hurt and they've got all of this depth, you got to stash him away. And the best way to stash him away right now, and one of the wide receivers has to go on the injured list. You're going to need those guys in 2020, 2021. You don't need them right now because you've got so much effing depth. And I'm telling you something.
I heard Tanner Gentry's look good.
Yes.
Tanner, white boy, Shayne.
Are you
has
gonna
look good, my boy? Greg's boy. Greg is me and Greg are believers.
Something that I thought about today. Are you going to see a guy? Because I've heard some
trades
plays here and there of Thomas Ives showing potential. 6'5", 215 pounds. Is this a kid that you're going to try to convert to tight end?
I don't know. How's our boy look? The Princeton kid. How's he looked at camp?
Yeah, hardly has made an impression at all. Jasper Horsted, Dax Raymond finally had a decent day today.
Barbieri.
Yeah.
She said.
Barbieri, yeah.
What did you think of him today, Aldo?
Finally, he was getting open, making some nice catches. He finally came to life because the first 2 practices that I saw, Greg has seen one more practice than I have. Dax was hardly a blip on the screen. So, but finally, he made an impression. I mentioned earlier that Bradley Soul worries me at that tight end position. I don't know if he's going to make this team, and if he makes it, Bradley Soul, Matt Nagy wants every player on the football field that's an offensive skill player to be able to do lots of different things so that the defense says, we don't have to worry about that guy. Bradley Soul is the type of guy that defenses are going to say, we don't have to worry about that guy. If it's in between the 20s, red zone, you're definitely going to have to worry about him because of what he can do with his size and stuff. But in between the 20s, if Nagy didn't want to use Jordan Howard because Jordan Howard had some limitations in pass routes and so forth, I can't see how Bradley Soul is out there because he just is not polished yet. It's going to take him a couple
of
routes.
Seasons. You're talking
in routes and in getting. And in getting off the line of scrimmage, man,
lumbering.
He doesn't have that giddy up. I don't see it. I'm not.
Well, but who's going to be the guy that comes in on the jumbo package? That's what I keep going back to with him. And this was pointed out by you guys before. At some point when you get in the red zone, or if you're facing a team that has a ferocious pass rush that day, you might need to slide in a blocking tight end. And I don't know who else fits that mold other than the ex-offensive lineman, now tight end. Bradley Soul. So it's just like, I feel like he has an inside track for that alone, because at some point you are going to need to have a goal line jumbo package.
They could bring, and you've seen them do this. My boy Roy Robb could come in. They bring in Akeem. They could bring in our boy Rashad Coward to play that extra tight end position.
That's a good point.
There are players. This is a problem. That's a blessing, because you guys are talking about stashing offensive talent. Yeah. You have the best defense in football and a roster full of, question marks because they haven't done it on offense at the receiver, the running back. They're there.
Right.
The quarterback, we know. I think everyone's a hashtag true believer on this show right now. So when I hear you guys talking, and this is just practice, the game is the coach's tape. The game is...
They haven't played a single game yet.
They haven't played one. So my boy Daniel Braverman, I fucking love him. He lit up practices. You get bad coaching, maybe it's... He didn't step up. He didn't know his route. Whatever it is. That happened in the game, folks. It didn't happen in practice. He made the roster in practice. Now the games, Javon Wims included, Hall. Shayne and I talking about Hall when he's with the Falcons. Where did Taylor Gabriel come from? They plucked 2 guys with speed off that roster.
They got him fairly early too in free agent. I mean, it wasn't first day, but it's like that means he's a legit target.
Right.
Like I said, not to worry and focus about 2020, but the Bears are going to have some really, really, really hard decisions to make where they're going to be moving off of guys that are fan favorites. Like I brought up Prince Amukamara. I think everybody knows that. Taylor Gabriel is going to be a guy there's going to be a discussion. I don't care.
That was the question I wanted to ask you is, a wild card hypothetical, but let's say Riley Ridley and Marvin Hall flash and big time flash. Yeah, and we're halfway through the season. Like you said, they've stashed different players in different ways. Is Taylor Gabriel a candidate to possibly be traded at the mid-season point for draft equity?
You're like watching the show
before Phil came back, where I brought that up. Is Taylor Gabriel going to be the surprise guy? Mm-hmm. There was issues with Gabriel last year. This offense is very precise. If you're making your break at 11 yards, Phil. Mm-hmm. Where are you making your break? You're
at 11 yards.
You're not making it at 11 and a half. You're not making it at 12. You're making it at 11. That's going to be something that affects your quarterback.
To your point, Shayne, something they're preaching, the little things. Clean up the locker room. Clean up your fucking routes. Clean up your attitude. The coach said something. We don't want dickheads, right?
Who did they draft the last 2 years? 2 years ago in the draft, the best route runner was who?
Anthony Miller.
Yep.
The best route runner in this draft. Who was it?
Riley Ridley.
Exactly.
Exactly. Because precision, as well as the little things, is the name of the game.
Offense. Yes, exactly.
In this offense. The one that PFF is pissed that your quarterback threw 344 yards, 3 touchdowns, but they were short out passes, and they only negate in Chicago.
Well, and I also think that they're looking for guys with a little more size and speed. That's no disrespect to Taylor, but when they drafted Anthony Miller, those two are kind of similar players in a lot of ways. And you want guys on the outside, I feel like, with a little more size, and you obviously want speed too, but, with Mitchell Trubisky not being pinpoint with his deep balls, you want a guy that can go up and get it like Javon Wims, or we haven't seen what Riley Ridley can do, but that's going to be what benefits him, and he can just chuck it and hope that his guy comes down with it. Taylor Gabriel's a great player, but and he fights for balls amazingly enough, as pound for pound maybe one of the toughest players in the league, but he's just not a big target, and that's just a fact, and that's not a knock against him. It's just a reality, and he put up big numbers despite of that, but I just feel like that's why they keep bringing in these other guys, because they want to upgrade, even though they were able to be productive with the guys they had.
Look at this guy. Can we introduce this guy the right way? Only to make Aldo's job easier, because all of this football conversation is going on post.
Bears fans, this guy's always sunshine and rainbows, but let's be honest, this fucker
has a dark side, and it's colored navy blue.
Greggy Tank Tops literally wrote the book on changing diapers for dummies.
I'm doing it! I hate you!
He's the Chi-Town half of Mandel's Chi Fans in the Stands.
Chi Fans in the Stands.
Or as everyone else says, Chi Fans in the Stands. If you don't see him in camp, just look for the guy in the smelly tank top knocking children out of the way trying to get autographs. Bears fans, give it up for Mr. 3Gs himself. It's Greg Braggs Jr.
Bravo, Dan. Bravo. That was good stuff.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm loving that.
The best part about it was he didn't want to call you the crazy fucking Mexican either.
I get tan enough in the summertime, I'll tell you that.
Well, I gotta say this. Dan needs to do an intro for me and call me the dumb Puerto Rican, because I really fucked up royally a couple of times, maybe 2 or 3 times today. Greg, it's all right if I mention that Bellissimo thing?
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's up on social media.
Oh, okay. So,
oh, we all saw it, you dumbass.
What a nice young man.
So yeah, Greg does a great job of getting an autograph for Bellissimo from Akeem Hicks on a Chicago Bears jersey, and I'm there videotaping the whole thing, except for the fact that I neglected to hit the record button.
Oh,
didn't we lose an entire podcast that way?
Oh my
Back
God!
in the day with Jose and Lauren Cox.
Holy
yeah, I think.
Remember, we had to re-record the next day.
It was like the best pod ever. Yeah,
we're like, yo, that shit was hot.
Oh my God!
It's in your window, you dumb fuck.
like I was telling Aldo when I was doing some high school work with my buddy Josh last year, we did the same thing with a coach. We did the whole interview, and at the end, we're like, oh man, we didn't hit record. It was. It happens to everybody.
Tell me he said some juicy Bears Barroom love nuggets.
No, I was giving him a shout out for Bellissimo.
Right.
I was trying to get him to shout out George, but he signed it up and he said something, but it wasn't anything Barroom like we did last year with him.
That was classic last year.
Man, he was out there for an hour after practice, literally taking pictures with every single person, man, woman, or child, autograph pictures, just having a great time. And it's just so, humbling to see that, you appreciate it, that's all. Just as a fan that goes to Bourbonnais, and it's not a requirement for any player to stop and sign or anything. They got a lot of stuff to do. We want them to win a Super Bowl. So if they want to go in, that's fine. But, the guys that stick around and hang out, you just have an appreciation for.
Class act.
You should listen. Everyone should listen to the interview that Adam Hogue did with Akeem Hicks in the Hogue Johns podcast. Not the latest one that came out, but the one beforehand. And Akeem says that he's working on every camp. He works on one thing to build to his repertoire. And so he's working on a pass rush move that he would not reveal to Adam Hogue what that move is going to look like or anything, clearly. So I'm issuing the challenge to all of you guys, especially the smartest man and Draft Dr. Phil. At that Packer game, I want you to try to identify what this pass move is that Akeem Hicks has been working on all of camp. Greg, you and I, let's make it a special mission for us to try to notice in practice what it could be as well, and maybe even shoot a little video to share with our closest friends. Greg, again, did an excellent job of getting over to a portion of the practice where the players were working out, the defensive linemen and so forth, and he got some great images of that, as he always does. This guy is a fantastic visualist, and I don't know why the Chicago Bears in the NFL don't allow him to shoot stuff, because it just improves the brand of the team and the league, and just spreads fan awareness and fan zealotry over what's going on. And the fact that they've handcuffed Greg from shooting stuff is just stupid, in my opinion.
Yeah, and only Greg too,
That's hey, right. Real quick before you talk about that, the voice of Barroom has to do his paid gig, so he'd like to say a quick goodbye to everybody.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that. I wanted to acknowledge you were talking about the interview with Akeem Hicks. Did you hear where David Hall kept interrupting him, and Akeem finally said, "Would you stop interrupting me?"
Yeah,
we're busy here to see.
I was trying to pull that audio as you spoke.
Yeah,
I was trying to get it. I know I recorded it somewhere.
I ran out of time, and I was trying to pull it too, because I was going to play it every time you spoke, Phil.
you were.
I was trying to pull it too, but it wasn't audio.
Hall could easily be the guy that needs to get some fucking ass, I think. But
gentlemen, about your roster 1 to 53 is it doesn't seem like there's any bad guys. Like Ryan prioritize. Yeah, he's a good player, but not my kind of character. I'll take this guy, maybe a scotch less talent.
Yeah, that wasn't it.
Yeah,
scotch.
I love that
a solid word.
That's a construction word, so I can respect that.
A scotch.
I got Greg, I'm mailing your DVDs in the morning, and I hope you fucking watch shit now.
I'm gonna. That's why I'm disappointed you're not staying out. We're supposed to have the after-hour JFK talk. Come on.
I would love to, but I gotta go to 911 and earn some money. So, anyways, good talking with you, gentlemen. I appreciate you, and I'll be listening to the podcast.
Hey,
we love you, Dan Aguire.
Intro, buddy.
Dan,
you all.
Dan, you got to come on the show more often. I love it when you're on.
Me too. All right, just bring me back.
You got it.
Give him a show.
He's got a show if he wants it.
100 proof.
He just has to carve out some time for us because of his schedule.
Well, I've been working on Monday nights for Tooch.
There you go. That's right.
Never heard of him. Who is he? New? Yeah, Dan. So when you go back, listen to that show again real quick and count how many you hear too.
Try to get us an average per minute.
I think our show, his show, I was on it, so I say hours. I thought it was good.
Oh, it was good.
It's always good. You guys bring
I'm
it.
doing good. I'm happy.
All right, I really have. You all take care.
All right, Dad, take care.
Get a job. It's
You guys should make like you should make like a remix song of Tooch saying and Joe saying man. Put like a remix beat together.
Greg, don't give away our secrets. You don't think we thought of this already? You wait till you hear your song.
No, please no.
Wait till you hear your song. Listen to this, Aldo.
Yes,
tell me what this is.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
You're going to have to tell me what you hear.
Okay.
Hold on. I had it, but then I labeled it. That's why we are taping. Hold on. Here we go. Tell me what this is. One more time, Aldo?
Yeah, one more time.
Can you name what this sound is?
Okay. I do believe that is one of the Bears brothers crying. No, just kidding. Just kidding. It was a joke, guys.
Be nice.
It was a joke. That's
if
all.
If we were
going
to be rude, I would have said one of them has Julia Roberts' teeth, but we're not like that anymore. So it's fine.
That's right. This is the nicer, gentler Bears 100 proof, which is why Greg Braggs is here, because he exudes so much. I mean, Greg Braggs, let me tell you something about Greg Braggs. He walks around Bears camp and people gravitate to him like he's Jesus.
Jesus Braggs. You change your Twitter handle, I think.
I mean, he's become a superstar at Bears camp. And, pretty soon he's the one that's going to be signing jerseys and hats and stuff like that. People know him. They want to take their picture with Greg. It's a great, great sight. And now he's doing hits on ESPN radio. He's got his own show with Joe Mando here on the Bears Barroom Radio Network. And there could be other stuff coming down the pipe where we don't know. Greg's got a lot of fucking irons in the stove. So this guy is something special. We're lucky.
This is the guy I had to talk into doing this.
That's right.
Can we get this motherfucker an iPhone? Can we get this fucker an iPhone?
Stop with this Galaxy.
A new Samsung, but no, I will never go to iPhones.
Just for the show.
Damn.
I love the Samsungs have better picture cameras.
Oh God!
Oh,
that's important to me. Maybe you haven't noticed when you're around me. My phone is on.
Camera game. I don't know if you've noticed my family
They ain't
Instagram.
touching the Samsung and their dual lenses. They ain't touching that. I'll tell you that.
So record the video with your Samsung and use your iPhone for everything else, like when you call in the Swaddle and Sylvie show.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it is. That phone is on its last legs. I have my phone in my pocket at work, and I get all this brick dust in it. So Sylvie ain't lying when I'm calling with a brick. Yeah, hey, we use that term all the time at work, and some other words too that I won't say because I'm a nice guy, even though it's 100 proof, and you'd prefer me to say it.
That's right. What the hell is that? You're gonna have to get you a soundboard talking about bad phones that you're playing.
Should we ask Greg, if you were going to describe Washington State on the map, where would it be?
Washington State? What the heck kind of question is this? Now I'm scared. What's with this trick question you
Where
got?
would it be? Like, if you were going to describe where it is, what would you say?
Now I'm so scared to answer this. I don't know.
Believe
Washington.
me, it can't be any fucking worse than what Dum Dum said earlier.
Seattle? I don't know. Washington.
It's better than Phil.
That's better.
Phil said it's upstate.
Upstate New York. what upstate? Well, it ain't D.C.
One of the upstates, I'll tell you that, Shayne.
One of the upstates.
That's all I know.
Who was the wide receiver from Washington State? I can always picture the helmet.
Didn't Bernard Berrien come from there?
Hey,
No. He was
No, he was Fresno, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's Fresno.
Tony Parrish was from Washington.
Yeah.
Drew Bledsoe was from Washington State.
Okay.
Isn't that where Ryan Leaf was from?
Yes, he was.
Wow.
Ryan Leaf. And
The rehabilitated Ryan Leaf.
Yeah.
guy's got a job on ESPN, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of that shit going on.
There is.
Hey, there is. You never know who they'll let on the ESPN airwaves.
So I heard on Sirius today, this was way off fucking kilter, but if the Bears hadn't made the Rick Meyer trade, do you know who they were drafting that year in the first round? At number 7 overall?
Tony Gonzalez.
Yep.
That's who I was drafted.
They were taking Tony Gonzalez.
Wow, they would have fucked up his career.
Yeah, I was going to say, who's throwing to him?
You don't think
Really? I
fucking
didn't
Steve
hear it.
Stenstrom was going to light it up with Tony Gonzalez?
The Jim Miller, Tony Gonzalez connection would have been one for the ages.
Talk about Jim Miller on 100 proof. He fucking blocked me.
That's okay.
After Phil found his lube, he fucking...
Oh, Jesus.
I can't believe Jim Miller even uses Twitter.
Yeah,
Does he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he used to. He fucking blocked me. I don't know why.
We used to talk all the time. I don't know what I did.
You gotta be nice.
Know what you did.
I'm
Got a
so
phone call.
nice.
You might as well share it here. Tell him. Share the fucking phone call.
Telling that story.
You've told it on here before.
No, I have not. I
Yes,
told
you
it
have.
to you, Aldo.
No,
I'm not
set it
telling.
up. I'll tell it.
Go ahead. You could tell it. I don't want to tell it.
It might involve a little bit of what Robert Kraft was dealing with.
Oh, now some fucking.
He called to have them report to his room, and he dialed the wrong number and dialed Phil's number.
Were you born an asshole, or did you work it your whole life?
Aldo, I
Either
can
way,
find
it worked out fine.
that song very funny.
You're an
Y'all come back, man.
That little number is dedicated to all those assholes who don't listen to our show but love to talk about us.
Yes. Oh, there's a lot of them, Greg.
We have
you don't
Greg
want to
read the
mention
list?
any names, but can you
No.
read the list? Texted over you a list.
Hey,
of assholes.
I got to tell you, the nicest guy in the world, Greg Braggs, actually had something not nice to say about somebody at Bears camp. I'll just leave it there. It shows that he's human.
He's only human.
I have my thoughts. I just like to keep the peace, is all.
I apologize for revealing that you have a human streak in you.
I do. My wheels are turning. But I'll tell you what, man, we almost saw a fight in the bleachers, too,
You
Aldo.
fucker, I was watching your live feed, and I'm like, who's yelling in the background? And then fucking Greg fucking kills it. And I'm like, right when the good part was
Dude,
happening.
any other time, I would have turned the camera and got all that for everybody to see. But honestly, I thought something was about to go down. And this guy that got up, he was like 350 solid. Like, this guy was not messing around either. He kind of had a look on his face. I was almost certain he was going to throw a punch. And so I just, it was my instinct. If it was two little girls trying to fight, I would have got it on camera. I would have been instigating. I would have been, but it looked like they could have gotten dangerous there for a second. This dude could have wiped out the whole bleachers.
Oh, my God. You ain't kidding.
Take it easy, Rambo.
I'm telling you. When the Bears get good, and you see this a few times, once every 6 years, it feels like the Bears are finally good again, and you'll get a large crowd that comes for a Bears camp, and, people kind of, have their own thoughts of how camp etiquette, so to speak, should be. And not to sound like a camp snob, but I have been going for almost 2 decades. And, for me, it is a place where we're all Bears fans, and you make room for everybody. You bring it, we slid in, me and Aldo slid in like 6 more people where we were sitting, you always want to accommodate. I bring extra drinks to give people, because people forget when they come out there, that it gets really hot in the bleachers. So I try to help out, because I know there's kids around that, their parents forget. And, that's just kind of how I try to operate on.
This guy's worrying about families and shit. Did I tell you, Aldo, the son's special?
I don't expect everybody to act like that, but there is come on. We're all Bears fans. There's people that
That's called the okie doke, Phil. You give the 8-year-old the Aquafina before you kick his ass later in the Keem Hicks
Exactly.
Yo, remember I gave you that juicy fruit?
Don't forget. I'll get out of my way. I say hi to Money. Yeah. No, exactly. No, and then, it amazes me when you go that people
don't... camera on the fucking football field now instead of filming fights? Can you break the fucking... Greg Bragg, I think you're the only one that's getting
doing it. It's incredible. That's okay. I like a challenge, right?
He's the only fish.
If you look close in his sunglasses, I brought that up on his live feed. I'm like, is anybody else looking in Bragg's sunglasses to see if you can see the field?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I talk to the people that, run the policies and social media stuff, and a couple people, Ben Schmitz and, Jen Selecki and stuff. And because I wanted clarity exactly on what I can and can't do, because I don't want to upset the apple cart. These are my guys. It'd be different if it was John Fox and those bums running this team. I'd be like, yeah, forget you. I'm doing what I want here. But, I happen to like the guys that are doing this now. This organization's starting to pick it up. So I'm not trying to be the rebellion against them. If other people want to rebel against the Bears, that's their prerogative. And it's each his own. I've been going there and videotaping plays at camp since 2008. So for them to make a sign and then not enforce it against anyone else, and I'm not saying they're enforcing it against me, because if I wanted to do it, I guess I could. But you know what? I kind of stand by, my laurels, and I rest, and I'm not going to go again. If they say not to, and I told, Brandon Faber's another guy that is their media staff, and he approached me last camp to ask what I was doing, because they thought I was like a spy or trying to make money off this. I was like, no, I'm just a fan. I'm having fun. This was well before anybody knew who I was, and he didn't tell me I couldn't do it. I was like, well, if you tell me I'm allowed to do it, I'm going to do it. The players last year, I got Josh Bellamy and these guys that I'm kind of friendly with, because I've been going to camp since he was a rookie, and they're telling me how much they love it. So it made me want to do it more. I used to go and just get a few plays, but then when I got Bellamy and Anthony Miller and these guys being like, oh, we love this, it made me want to do it twice as much, and that's what happened last year. So it wasn't like I was always covering camp in that way. So it's not a big deal to me if I just go there and enjoy it. That's what I used to do. And, if they put a rule out there, I'm going to respect it. It's the Bears. That's my team. That's just my way, my opinion. And it is frustrating because, trust me, I got the itch. I want to get these plays. But like I said, it also, they threw a challenge my way. And, last year I wasn't doing this for work or I was just doing it for fun. I'm a fan. This is what I do.
This is how you were discovered.
Yeah, I would do this if
one
no
of the
one was
Barflies retweeted Greg Bragg's video.
Yeah.
And I saw it, and Shayne saw it. And then I just kept saying, this kid understands the angle that I want to fucking be able to talk to fans about practice, because they're so misled, as we talked about this whole with the headlines that you shared and the interceptions. I want to see individual plays and how they're lining up, and that's it. And this kid was just bringing that. Then he comes on the show with me, Aldo, and BG at the time. And Aldo didn't know what to expect from this kid. I go, there's something magical about this kid. We got to get him in Barroom. Then he continued. Then I met him. Then he took us to the fucking Cubs game. And me and Aldo, truth be told, were like, there's something special about this kid. Now everybody, to Greg's credit, I'm only giving you the history because Barroom, Aldo, you, Shayne, me retweeting his videos. His art form is being overlooked because now everybody's doing what he did for Bears Barroom and us and our friend and everything from the show that we and I'm not taking anything away from Greg. The whole thing is a fucking family, and the guy is brilliant at visually seeing it and being just like the quarterback that anticipates differently than another person. He anticipates the place to be to capture something that everybody, including, as he's saying, the players want to fucking see it.
Right.
They want to see it.
When I was talking to Ben Schmitz,
that's all they do.
I was telling him, I'm like, dude, you're telling me that I can't do this, but this is still going on. And he's like, well, we don't care if Joe Schmo does it. We just don't want it to circulate with the bigger outlets. I'm like, that's fine. But you got the players retweeting this stuff still. And he's like, well, we can't say anything to them because they like it. And they want their plays out there. I'm like, no kidding. That's what I was doing last year.
Right.
And I'm like, it is frustrating. And these people that are doing it now, they all, that's where I came into play. Because like last year, I've been to camp so many times. I know that the top of the bleachers in certain spots now everybody's at the top of the bleachers. And now you got people doing it all different angles. And I love that. I love seeing a play from 12 different angles. That's the whole, what I like to do. My whole vision was like one day that everyone has different shots and you share them all together for one play. To me, there's something cool about that, but that's just because I enjoy going to games.
They can't even handle that for the all-22 at Soldier Field, though, Greg.
Exactly. I'm telling you, the Greg 22 would be fun. If they had me at the game, the Greg 22 at Soldier Field would be better.
Hey, there's only 122 here. That was me. Right? Oh, Dan left.
Whatever happened to, remember your boy Roy?
Yeah, that guy he's still on Twitter.
Yeah, I know. I follow him on there, but whatever.
He's tweeted a few times in the last year, but he doesn't as much.
Whatever happened. 100 proof, he said. That's it. End of story. That's what.
I know he got shut down with
Aldo.
his video.
Listen, Aldo has produced fucking television commercials and videos and won Emmys for his visual. Have you seen Aldo's ability to, when he wants to, promote in a commercial and put it together? It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah,
you too, and I know Aldo agrees, have something, other people bring to the table, and the visual of it. I can describe it. I could break it down. I could sing a song. Shayne fucking brings knowledge. And always, when the Bears, you're talking about little things, the first person I thought of was Shayne. For years. Look at this fucking background where Mark Trestman is, and there's a fucking, a wrong color in the background, or some fucking player that hasn't been used in 40 years. Why aren't you putting the young quarterback behind John? All those little things that the Bears seem to be getting, they're missing out here. They're missing out in what Greg and fans bring to the table when it comes to loving their franchise in a manner with which it's worldwide. So the Berlissimos and the Sandy Toms and the everyone from all over, Pablo Jacques on here, he can't get to camp. Can't see it. I'm in Connecticut. Shayne's upstate New York. Fucking the fucking baby's upstate in Washington.
Well, here's one point I want to make on this, though. When I did this for the last 2 years, I've been doing it for like I said, video-wise, putting up plays since 2008, since phones started to advance. And my whole goal when I started putting it on Twitter was to show people how cool this was. I knew, because I'm a fan, that some people had followed because I put up video, that if I went to camp and just showed what I do, what I get to experience, that people were going to take to it. And 2 years ago, Mitch's rookie year, I put up a few videos, a few Mitch to Tanner Gentry plays, because I was trying to prove to Waddle that Mike Glennon was terrible. But then I knew the next year, I was like, I'm going to do some more because it was a lot of fun, and I saw a little reaction to that. And so that second year was just about showing people the experience. It wasn't just the plays. It was walking up the hill. It was meeting the players after. It was harassing a Green Bay Packer fan. And to that point, my goal was met because this year now everyone's there documenting it. And, yeah, it is frustrating for me that I don't get to do it, but it is also now it is unfair, but at the same time, other people are documenting it. So now everyone around the world can see it. Yeah, I don't get to do it, but that's all right. I got other things going on in my life too. I'll do the video at the preseason games or the regular season, wherever I'm at. I'm going to do video, but if they're going to tell me not to, so be it.
Let me say this with evidence, Your Honor. I'm going to play evidence for Judge Aldo the Great, by the way. Last year, Greg Braggs brought all that video. Barroom retweeted. Aldo brought all this great video. It's not spliced together like the ChicagoBears.com is doing it, chasing the dream, whatever it's saying, giving you highlighted play. You're doing plays and video, and just like you said. And this is what happened.
They go last to first, and they win the NFC North 2018 Division Champions.
So Greg did not impede that.
Right.
By sharing those highlights from camp.
It was very nice.
Where I think they're dropping. Exactly.
But I also think that just social media is moving so fast, and I don't know if these coaches realize that they can find this stuff. If I'm on a coach, and this is an honest thing, I mean, that's why I was always kind of iffy about what I was doing.
They know. Believe me, they know.
They can take something from what they're seeing.
They're not going to get an advantage.
Nothing.
Because they get game tape.
It's a fucking play, and it's going to come down. It's going to come down to the fucking motor of the player, the strength of the player, everything.
They're just the only thing that possibly can happen is that when you're looking at young, talented players that you might not know around the league and on lower ends of the roster, no offense, and something stands out, like the kid you brought up, Thames. He's showing stuff in practice. A scout might say, see if you could find something from camp on this kid, because I'm looking at him here in the games and I really like what I'm seeing. And all of a sudden, a Greg Braggs or Aldo or Shayne's, Tooch's fucking highlight tape for the kid pops up, and they have 4 more plays that they could say, hey, yeah, let's take a shot at this kid, put him on the practice. That's it. There's look at Kyle Long.
Do you guys really think that rival scouts aren't coming to these open practices? I heard Ryan Pace answer a question to David Kaplan, and he said that other team scouts are allowed to come if it's a paid event. So, for instance, the Family Fest, a scout for other teams is allowed to come to that because it's a paid event. But if it's not a paid event, they don't come by some code of honor that I just can't believe can be trusted. And David Kaplan didn't double down on the question, because I wish I would have said, you really think that just by trust, I know Bill Belichick ain't worried about that. He's going to send Bob from Arlington Heights to come over there and see if he's going to, to me, and that was what I was talking about with the guys last year. I was like, you're worried about me. There's 15,000 people out here, and any of them could be a Packer scout. And he's like, they're not. I go, how do you know? I was like, it kind of blew my mind a little bit, but that's why I don't want to argue it too much, because I want them to stay in Bourbonnais the rest of my life. And if everyone keeps this up, they're going to move it to Lake Forest and have one open practice, like Shayne was saying, and we're never going to get to have this again. So I don't want to upset Olive Branch, because this is my heaven, and their contract runs up in 2022, and they might move it out of Bourbonnais if they can't get it under control of what they want.
Yeah, there's a lot of that shit going on.
Yes.
The Philadelphia Eagles in their entire training camp this summer have one open practice to the public.
Really?
One. And they charge for it.
And Fangio has all of them open.
He just opened them all. And good props to him. And I believe if you asked him that he found that maybe sense of love for training camp at Bourbonnais, because you could see Vic was enjoying what he was doing last year with that defense. And part of him probably wanted to stick around and play with this historically great defense. And he went to Bourbonnais and enjoyed it. I had a funny video where he's picking up garbage. I was like, "What's up, Vic?" And he's giving the wave. And, for Vic, I think even a wave in his life. Yeah, so I think that's what he wanted to bring to Denver, is that sense of camaraderie with training camp and the fans. I think that builds culture, and it's underestimated as far as what it does for a team. And if they move to Lake Forest, I just think it would be different.
Do your research. I don't know where that comes from.
Go ahead, dude. Vic Fangio. That's why.
It was, but why the buzzer? I don't know.
That was probably from Jeopardy.
That's right.
Wrong.
It was. That's
the first time we were.
We got to have another Jeopardy match. I think Greg would be a great participant. The three of you guys go at it.
There we go.
But I got the fucking belt, so I can retire on top. So these
Jeopardy of what? I'm not smart. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, I'd be smarter than Phil.
Sports and Chicago Bears Jeopardy. It's I
think Dan Aguire would probably be.
He would be good too.
Yeah, he'll be on the show too.
When I brought up Dan Marino making the Super Bowl in his rookie year, Dan texted me. I looked down. He goes, "Shayne, actually, it was year 2. He was drafted in '83. He made the Super Bowl in '84."
Well, actually, Dan, it was his first year.
He's sending me all these videos of JFK stuff because we were talking about that, and he's sending me all these videos of old Bears games.
Yeah.
I'm worried he cut it up like that Fight Club tape, and there's going to be a little boop.
Yeah. Do your research.
Hey, let's talk a little bit about Greg doing that ESPN hit. Greg, why don't you tell our followers what happened with ESPN this week?
Yeah, and I've been a long-time listener and caller and harasser of the Waddle and Sylvie show, and I've been calling, harassing Sylvie before he even had Waddle on his shows, when he was with Carmen DeFalco and even a guy like Jay Mariotti back in the day. I mean, I've been an AM radio listener my entire life. I've been calling into radio since I was a kid. And, just a scotch. Yeah, so, I've built a relationship with them. I'm no stranger to Waddle and Sylvie, and, they've been messing with me, and it kind of started to take a turn when I called in every week of training camp when Mike Glennon and Mitchell Trubisky were going head-to-head, and Mitchell was just depancing Mike Glennon every day. It was a joke, and they weren't talking about it. And I'd come home waiting to read articles from my favorite beat writers, and they weren't talking about it, and that would frustrate me. And then I'd hear Waddle and Sylvie talking about, Mike Glennon is a good pro, and Mitchell needs some time, and he hasn't ever run an offense, and he doesn't know the playbook, doesn't know how to get in and out of the huddle, so we should wait till week 5.
This is where Bears Barroom 100 Proof was born, Greg. This is pre-Greg understanding that this is what gave life to this fucking show.
Well, it's amazing our worlds didn't collide at that point, because even me and Shayne had a discussion on Twitter about this, and I just didn't see it with Mike.
It wasn't discussed.
Yeah, I was heated about it. The Bears blog, anybody that would talk about Mike Glennon in a positive light, I was flipping out on, because I just couldn't take it. If you went to camp and watched it, it was embarrassing. He was throwing picks to Quentin Demps, right? I think he threw 3 to him in one day. Mike Glennon, our first string quarterback, and first string, second team, and third team, they don't get all the same amount of snaps. So when you get to third team, Mitchell Trubisky's got limited snaps, and every play he's making is like an amazing play. And I was just like, okay, time to put in the first round pick. Let him learn. He'll figure it out. He's not going to get killed. Oh, I heard. Oh, they have the scariest schedule to start. Atlanta and Pittsburgh and Tampa and Green Bay. Oh my! And so I call into Waddle. I'd call into Waddle and Sylvie every day and every week and tell him how terrible Mike Glennon is, and this is a mistake. And Waddle just kept coming back at me. How do you know? Well, I'm going to practices. And they'd laugh at me, and I'm like, well, I'm telling you, I'm not blind. This dude is terrible. Then Mike Glennon wins the job in the third preseason game because he throws one scripted touchdown pass, and Mitchell also outplayed him in that game, by the way. And I'm flipping out at that point. They're playing him in the fourth preseason game, risking his injury.
Greg was not listening to 100 Proof at this time.
Oh, man.
When I scared Lauren Cox off the show.
I was
Lauren's what? Sorry, Lauren.
Aldo, do we have some audio of how far off some of Mike Glennon's passes were?
Yeah.
Oh man! And you should have seen him at camp.
How late were they?
Wait a minute! I gotta call that up.
Oh, I got you.
You should have seen these lollipops at camp. It was insane.
You should have heard this debate when I had to debate somebody off. I guess they've started their own network. And I said, Mitch Trubisky is clear. Night versus day should be starting. It isn't even fucking close. A huge loss is your head coach not creating an environment where competition, hello, Matt Nagy, means you are going to win. You're going to play your best no matter what, where they sign, what money they made. That football acumen, that winning culture that Belichick has and Pete Carroll. This kid, Trubisky, carried it. You could see it wasn't even close. Lauren Cox was telling me on the show that you play him to trade him, Glennon. No, that's not how you create a culture. You play the best so they can learn.
I think that was the original plan. I really, really, really do.
Somebody's
I think that was.
Glennon throws a ball a millisecond late. What a piece of garbage. But if Tom Brady does it, you say, oh, man, that receiver should have got out of his brakes faster.
I believe he said he was going to buy a Glennon jersey.
Hey, there were a lot of people wrong about it. Tom Waddle. I'm arguing every day on the radio. We can pull that audio up of Tom Waddle going.
Audio of Waddle.
I wish I got it on my old brick phone, and I'm telling you, he was sitting there going, well, give him 4 games and then we'll play Mitch in week 5. I go, why? So we can be 1-3 or 0-4? What sense does that make? Oh, because they play scary teams. Get out of here. I was just so beside myself.
The one game that they won had nothing to do with Mike Glennon. That was all running. It was
Jordan Howard.
So when we arrived to week 2, of the regular season, I went to that game, and I wasn't going to as many games like I did last year. So it was a special day, and actually that morning we found out my wife was pregnant. That morning, I'll never forget this day. It was pretty crazy. It was like I thought she was
still went to the game,
and we still went to that game. I go, whoa, you're still going to the game, right? Yeah.
Did she drink?
No, hell no.
Oh, okay.
And I did though. So yeah, I'm still on my stampede. I hate the coaching staff because they're just shooting themselves in the own foot. They want to try to save their job, but they're playing the people that are going to lose it for them. And I could have cared less about John Fox and Dowell Loggins, but I just thought they were crazy. So I went to the game. We're walking in. I wanted to go in early because I was going to go yell at the offensive coordinator. I run into George McCaskey outside the stadium. I'm like, hey, I had a 10-minute conversation with them about why they should be playing the kids because they sparked this life at camp and even in the preseason, and they're missing out on something that could be special. And I didn't think they could make the playoffs, but I just thought they could bring a new life to this team. And so then George was kind of just like, oh, that's nice, Greg, and patted me on the head. And we went inside, and I go in the tunnel because my wife's boss has really good seats right by the tunnel. And we went, and Dowell Loggins is walking in through the tunnel, and I'm like, Dowell, I was like, and he turns around because he thought I wanted like a picture or something. I'm like, you need to be playing the kids. He's like, what's that? And he kind of stepped to me, and all these people are looking. I'm like, you need to be playing the kids. I don't know what you guys are doing, but you're going to lose your job playing the bums when the kids should be out there. And I don't know what, you're going to let somebody else reap what you've been sowing for this last year with him at camp. He goes, you think I don't want to play the kids? And I was like, kind of taken back by that. I was like, wow. So he does. And I go, well, if you do, then you need to put it in that Mitch is the better quarterback. I don't understand what you guys are waiting for. You want to wait till week 5 till you're 0-4, huh? And this is before they won the Steelers game. And he's like, I'll tell you what, it ain't up to me or else I'd have the kid. And I was just like, wow, I was taking, and all these people are looking at me like I'm nuts. But I wanted to hear
Braggs Jr.
I wanted to hear from the horse's mouth. I was that upset about it because I just.
I just said we need a turnover. We got it.
All this stuff that people are seeing now with Eddie and Tariq and Mitchell, that stuff was apparent right away, and we
building in front of you.
Yeah, and they waited.
Thank God they fucking didn't listen to us, Greg.
Yeah, because we ended up with Roquan Smith.
We got Matt Nagy.
Exactly. And my buddy Jake would always remind me of that because he knew I was right. But he's like, Greg, it doesn't matter. You're worried about a season that should not matter. I was like, Mitchell needs the reps. So that ended up not really mattering as much because Matt Nagy has done a great job with him, in my opinion. But, you know, so that's how the whole Waddle thing, where they started looking at me as a Bears guy. Because I called it arguing with him. And he didn't agree. And then I ended up being right when Mike Glennon embarrassed himself against the Green Bay Packers on Thursday Night Football with the football off his team.
Oh, my God.
I've never lost my mind so much in a moment in my life. And I was like, if he is out for the next series, I am done. I couldn't believe that he played the rest of that game.
That was the pass interception.
Yeah, that was the Akeem Hicks after the game.
Oh, yeah. He shoved him.
Because I'm telling you.
What was the song you came up with? Glennon got run over by Akeem Hicks. That's what that fucking song was for that night.
I ain't kidding you. And I'm surprised they didn't turn on him earlier.
Hey, if we're reminiscing about the past, let's take a quick poll here. I got a trade proposal for you guys. Okay? Roquan Smith to the Indianapolis Colts for Quentin Nelson. Straight up.
No way.
Aldo, I'm waiting on you, bud.
You already know where he's going.
No, okay. I will. The trade was James Daniels and Roquan Smith for Darius Leonard and Quentin Nelson.
That was yours. That was not mine right now.
I would still make the trade Roquan for Quentin Nelson. Absolutely.
There you go.
Because I put so much value on the offensive line. I come from the Jim Finks school of putting together a football team. You need an offensive line. Kyle Long is not going to be here in 2 years.
How does he look, by the way?
He's looked okay.
He might not be here next year.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Could not, yeah. But I heard that he's been looking very good, according to a source.
Your source is correct.
Which is great news for Barflies and new listeners here, because you all know what I think of Whitehair. And now James Daniels going into center, who I said it on the score, Shayne, I think it was. Now you got to draft James Daniels. Now you got him. And
he's flagged medically.
Is he a good football player?
Can't draft him.
You got an interior, and then you have Charles Leno, and now I don't know how our boy Bobby's been doing, but I'm really, really excited about Rashad Coward. So I want to see how he does in camp. But Greg, we heard you on ESPN 1000. you built this relationship because basically behind the scenes they were fucking saying, we better listen to this fucking guy more often because we don't know what the fuck we're talking about sometimes. And then your character and what we saw here, I just think these motherfuckers are stealing you from us. Is what
Ain't nobody stealing me. How many guys?
The blue eyes, though, right? This guy's eyes in person.
Yeah,
Fucking
very
guy.
nice.
Fucker's got some blue eyes, I'll tell you that. Hey,
man,
I want you to hear something.
Glendon got pushed over by a teammate standing on the sideline that told me you can say that's not such a big deal, but us in the barroom disagree. Glendon is a waste of millions.
That ain't
all
no
the Barflies
shit.
know it's true. Hicks showed great resilience by shoving and not using his kung fu. Glendon was
Should've
sold
buried
the
him.
next morning from that one shelf to his bag. But the Barflies were still laughing at his knee pass interception to the pack. Oh, Glendon got pushed over by a teammate standing on the sideline that told me you can say there's not such a big deal, but us in the barroom disagree. All that wasted free agent money, the barroom dubbed it the giraffe gap. But there isn't anything funny about blowing millions on his half-ass. It's a little better in the barroom now that Glennon's on the bench. And we sit and pray and wonder on Black Monday, God, please make John Fox next. Glendon got run over by a teammate standing on the sideline like a tree. You all think that it didn't matter, but us at the barroom disagree. Now my Glennon's still a captain. Off the bus, the guy so big. The blue, orange, and navy. With my Glendon on the center, it ain't shit. I've warned all the Barflies. Thought Pace could see it for himself. They should never sign a QB who's over 6'5" in the NFL. Glendon got pushed over by a teammate standing on the sideline that told me you could say that's not such a big deal, but us in the barroom disagree. Glendon got pushed over by a teammate standing on the sideline that told me
How long is this fucking song? You
you can say that's not such a big deal, but us in the barroom disagree. Us in the barroom disagree.
That was very nice.
Full of shit, Greg.
Oh, that was.
Greg's favorite part of the show, Phil's songs.
Oh yeah.
With my music ability in such short times.
That was, you were at your creative peak there, man. That was like being a fucking teenager and masturbating and hitting the semen hitting the fucking
He had
ceiling.
him and all 7 of his fucking burners working on that whole
They all loved it.
In the NFL.
Hey, Greg, you going to be at camp tomorrow?
No, I don't think so. I'm going to get to work tomorrow. I finished up the day yesterday. I was going to come, but I want to miss on Monday morning because, all the boys from AM 1000 are going to be there. I'm going to be bugging Waddle and Sylvie again. So, I want to make sure I make that one. So I don't want to miss every morning of Thursday, Friday, and Monday.
Can we get this guy a Bears Barroom t-shirt?
Absolutely.
So he can rock something out there instead of his Cubs shirt. And
yeah.
I heard he did get an orange hat, Aldo.
He did. Look at this thing.
Oh, he's got a Bears hat, an official. Oh, look. There's a Bears Barroom hat coming your way. Look at Aldo.
Oh, there we go.
Nice.
I'm down, hey. Well, let's get it. Let's get it, my brother.
I'll give it to you on Monday.
If it sounds good, you're going to be there?
Oh, yeah.
Excellent.
Look at him.
Excellent.
Aldo's been doing it well.
He's feeling that Bourbonnais itch, man. Once you get it, then you don't miss.
I'm actually spending the night, Sunday night and Monday night, so I can get early starts. So
okay, there you go.
I'll be flying in on Sunday to stay
down,
with you, Aldo.
Puppy. Magnuson Hotel. I'll be there with my little panties on.
That sounds like my Sunday night.
Yeah, the family's coming home Sunday.
It's been 3 weeks without the family, huh, Shayne?
Yeah,
Sunday. I gotta go pick them up Sunday.
Man. Hey, guys, do you have tweets this week, Shayne?
I do, but it's also 12:15. You fucks.
I know. Do you want to do them real quick? Or should we punt?
Sure. No, we can do it. You want to?
All right. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know our boy over there, Greg, doesn't like Phil's songs just like me, yeah.
I like them in small doses.
Yeah, very
Not the 3.5 minute ones.
I didn't say I didn't like them. It's just like an avalanche of songs. You're buried under them and Heidi's on top dancing.
He's the smartest man.
Yeah, I'll give you a little music. Hold on.
Taking away my songs. Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're going to start from the beginning? I got to start the music.
I didn't know. He invented the...
Hold
ready?
on. Go ahead.
Oh, jeez.
I'm sorry. I'll pick up after...
Well, fuck it up, Mandel. Play the music.
Pick up right there.
He invented the soft scrub and that blue shit that makes your toilet bowl clean. Line this guy up at tight end for the Bears. I guarantee he's not as soft as Shayne. He's the smartest man, and this is the dumbest tweet of the week.
That's right. If you are joining us for the first time, then you should be forewarned that Shayne Marsaw is going to present to you a tweet that is just going to make you sick to your stomach. And if he presents more than one, then we have to fairly warn you that you are probably going to drop dead from disgust. Shayne, it's all yours.
So there is more than one, and this is somebody that hasn't made an appearance here, but it's somebody that I know my good friend Phil knows, and this is Lance at Best Human Talent.
Lover of dad jokes.
Yeah, lover of that. That was, if you listen, let's go into the 100 proof or the Bears Barroom way back machine. When I was, yeah. When I was introduced onto the podcast for the very first time, Aldo told me to share some information about myself, and that was my lead in was I'm a teller of dad jokes, and that was my shout out to Dumb Lance. But anyways, here we go. Here's another shout out to you, Lance. And there is a picture of Akeem Hicks scoring his touchdown, and then there's another picture below it of William the Refrigerator Perry scoring his touchdown in the Super Bowl. And Barstool said, in honor of the Dream 99 being ranked number 39 in the NFL Top 100, here's the Fridge Part 2. Well, Lance quote tweeted it and said, well, there's only one major difference between those two players, in that Akeem Hicks is actually good, even great as a defensive lineman. The Fridge was just a sideshow act in Mike Ditka's circus.
What you say?
I love that drop for some reason. Probably because it's a song, Greg. Fuck.
So, Aldo, did you think that
Greg liked the
Fridge-
length of it, I'll tell you that.
He was
I didn't like the length. I thought it was going to end too. I couldn't remember how many. That's fucking Shane's fault. He's the one who made me fucking
Shane's
sing
fault.
that
That's
song.
his
Yeah, it
fault.
was.
Let's make
Yeah,
a new
it's on a
barroom
Christmas
rule.
album.
Let's make a new barroom rule that all the parody songs will be 2 minutes max.
There you go.
Or 45 seconds is a nice number.
I'll take it.
But Aldo, did you think that Refrigerator Perry was just a complete sideshow act and not a good player?
No, he was definitely a good player. This guy was disruptive. He was one of the most athletic defensive linemen for that size and the history of the game. It wasn't until later that you started to see athletic 300-plus pound defensive linemen. I mean, and he was effective as an offensive player, too. Anybody that thought it was a sideshow is mistaking what Mike Ditka did with the guy as opposed to actually seeing what William Perry did on the football field. He was a heck of a football player.
Yeah, he was. I
was
totally
only
agree with Aldo.
2 months old when the Bears won the Super Bowl in 19.
I don't think.
I'm sure Lance was too.
I don't think people have perspective because it became such a huge thing. This motherfucker went from a Bears defensive lineman, like fucking one of the best defensive linemen in football, is not in the top 100, Eddie Goldman. That's the Fridge. But now you put him on the stage, he's got a fucking gap in his tooth, like, Michael Strahan. He's huge and he's athletic. He could dunk a fucking basketball at his size. I saw it. So that kind of took the football ability away from the guy where he was good. And then Buddy Ryan was very hard on him his rookie year. And that's how Ryan was. This kid was a very apparent sensitive dude and wasn't the brightest fucking bulb in the fucking the closet that you put in. I don't know what the
butchered that one.
Bulb in the closet.
Wasn't the sharpest tool in the fucking shed. How about that one?
Tool.
Closer.
Fuck generator.
Close enough. Close, but enough.
By a skosh.
He was a skosh better than what Lance is trying to sell here, and I totally agree.
Hey, but it is amazing how many people do what Lance did there, which is post a tweet without doing any research or just knowing what the fuck they're talking about. And Vic Fangio has some advice.
Do your research.
There you go.
No disrespect to the 85 Bears, and I'm sure they were a great, magical. I mean, I still know about them. I got the Super Bowl Shuffle VHS in my collection of things I own, but I hope this 2019 Bears just wipes that whole thing done, and we can talk about these boys forever. I've been hearing from my dad and every person that has experienced the 85 Bears my whole life. And in 06, they were mean to my 06 Bears. That's what I remembered. And I was not happy with that. Devin Hester and them guys, those were my guys. And they did not treat them well. And I think they learned a lesson from that because now it's been a long time since 2006. And at Bears 100, you saw a lot more unity amongst the alumni of the Bears and these current Bears. And I think it's because this is a likable bunch. But so was that 06 team. But here we are, and I feel like there's a lot more unity, and that's because this 2019 team, is special. And this is, it feels like fate. You talk about all the weird coincidences and numbers with such and such birthday, and it's in Miami, and this, that, and the other. It just feels right, and I just hope that these Bears we can lay to rest the 1985 talk, or the rest of we talk about the 29. I can bug my kids about the 2019 Bears. That's what I hope.
Well said.
So what you're saying is, fuck you, Lance, for that dumb tweet. Is that what you're saying, Greg?
And Greg style.
But Dennis McKinnon freaking got tough with my wife at a tailgate one time.
What was that? Dennis McKinnon? What?
We were at a tailgate back when we used to park at the McCormick parking lot where they shuffle out where like the semis normally park. And it's just a huge lot of tailgate craziness. I've seen some of the most craziness debauchery you'll ever see at that tailgate lot. And they still park over there. And it's not an official Soldier Field lot. So people can get there at freaking, the day before in their RVs. And Dennis McKinnon was, being paid to come to one of these tailgates because some people have some big-time setups. And
that's the lot we were in?
No, but that crew had to move from the McCormick lot because they got so big and so legitimate with their setup that they were like, you got to get out of here. So then they had to rent out a city block, but that's a different story. And so now we're at McCormick lot and he shows up late in his Hummer H2 yellow with rims. And when you show up late, everything's already set up at the tailgate lot. And he freaking driving in, making people move their stuff so he can pull up right next to where this tailgate lot's going on. And he came out and it was chaos. He got a bunch of drunk Bears fans from 6 a.m. and he's showing up a couple hours before the game. And so he probably didn't want to be there. I don't know. But my wife is leaning up on his Hummer while everybody's just hanging out. And she didn't know whose car it was. And I'm throwing bags and harassing people. And Jenny comes over to me and tells me that Dennis McKinnon yelled at her. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, that Bears guy. And I knew who it was. I was like, that guy yelled at why? She's like, I was leaning on his car. We were talking. And I guess he said something harsh to her about get off his Hummer. I'm like, get out of here with your Hummer H2. Nobody cares about this. I was ready to rumble with Dennis McKinnon when I heard he said something to my wife. But, we let it go.
Our Greg rainbows in some.
You got to respect the women. That got me fired up.
Oh, shit. Well, you know what's funny, too? Because I worked with McKinnon for 3 or 4 days on a project for CBS, and the motherfucker was hitting on my girl at the time. Yeah,
the truth is coming out tonight.
This sounds like a new book.
What has Dennis McKinnon done to your significant other?
Hey, man,
come to think of it, when me and Steph were in Chicago. No.
Anyway, let's move on to the next terrible tweet.
Oh, yeah.
All right, yeah, this is somebody everybody here will know, Detroit Lions Guru.
Oh, boy.
Detroit Lions Guru sent out a tweet that said, Detroit is... and I mean significantly better than the Chicago Bears. Detroit has had the best offseason in the league, and has Chicago even landed a kicker worth noting yet? So the Detroit Lions are significantly better than the Chicago Bears.
Well, maybe he's like an Onion account.
Yeah, could be.
He very well could be. That would make a lot more sense than him being a regular.
Sounds like satire.
Well,
significantly.
It does sound a lot smarter than his previous tweet, which read,
is there a cockier fan base that has done nothing than the Detroit Lions?
1952.
Their calling card is what, the last 7 years? Their wins
got
over
the
Chicago.
top fantasy football quarterback stat-wise for the last 3. When you throw that kind of shit out there, it's like you're missing it. You're like you're like a rerun. You're a pilot episode that's not getting fucking carried over to the next season. What are you? You're fucking comparing your show to The Office. It's like, no.
So that's not even the dumbest one. Aldo actually chimed in on this third one. And this is, Dan V at Niners Dan. Do you remember this one, Aldo?
Oh, yeah.
He sent out a tweet that says, Roquan Smith doesn't have the intangibles to be an elite linebacker. Linebackers usually have it from day one in the NFL, and Roquan does not.
Nasty, yeah.
Rookie come late.
You just dumb. You really dumb.
That's the one I should have dropped there.
Dumb as hell. Hold on. Aldo's mom could make an appearance if you want.
Now you're talking.
You ever watch Roquan Smith and just say, oh, man, if that fucker only had some intangibles. Oh, my God.
His number one calling card. That guy.
Exactly.
He's a fucking idiot.
That's mommy.
There she is.
Not when he's coming through the pocket clean, coming for your quarterback. No.
Led the Bears the number one defense in tackles as a rookie.
Yeah, almost set the record, and he would have.
Almost set the record. Would have.
Yeah.
And that's the fucking story on, again, almost like Lance. In the fact, historically, you're overlooking something for the the parade and the commercials. In this case, where it matters, and that's tape study, you're completely missing the fucking reality stick in regards to Roquan Smith and what he could do.
This fucker probably traded for an offensive guard. Probably, but
He's a fucking idiot.
so those are my dumbest tweets of the week.
And we move forward.
Oh yeah, singing
quick in the uptake. Oh yeah.
He was the one who called it that Philly would implode with their quote dream team. Big question coming out of camp. Shit, I fucked it up.
Fucking guy.
Hold on, I fucking fucked it
Can
up.
we suspend him again?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
What the fuck is going? See, I told you we should have did tweets.
All right, hold on. Oh yeah. Go.
He was the one who called it that Philly would implode with their quote dream team. Big question coming out of the Bears Barroom camp. Will Shayne come on? I have a stream. He's the smartest man. And this is his best tweet of the week.
Yeah, you hit the timing perfectly.
Yeah, you fucked everything else up, but you hit the fucking end.
All right, just to show that we are a kinder, gentler show than we've been in the past, Shayne is going to present to you at least one good tweet of the week and maybe more. What do you got, Shayne?
There is 3 this week, and we're going to start off with number 3. Here is a friend of the show and is going to join us for some post-game banter.
Zimmerman?
Nah, fucking happened under my watch. Matt Karstensen at Carskeys1 sent out a tweet. It says, I always feel the need to remind people that the Chicago Bears won a Super Bowl in 1985 with a rookie kicker who was 3 for 8 in kicks over 40 yards on the season.
Mm-hmm.
3 for 8 kicks over 40 yards.
That is amazing.
It really is. Yeah, so it tells you what you can do with a viable offense and a good defense.
Yeah, so just as long as the Bears win the Super Bowl 46-10, we'll be good.
Exactly.
Wow.
So
that's
I'll rip right through these, and this is another friend of the show that we've had on, Akeem Hicks at Dream 99 said, and this is a testament to Greg and Aldo because they've been out there a lot. the support we've received at camp this year has been absolutely unreal. I just want to say thank you to all the fans. They're the best in the league. Let's go get some more W's this season. Hashtag bear down.
Fucking Barroom!
Yes.
He's making a strawberry shake.
Elvis. That's not even, Phil, tell him how that came about real quick. That's not
Real
Pooch's
quick.
wife.
Phil, real quick.
Yeah, real quick.
So I work with this
I'll tell
guy.
you. Shut the
Go
fuck up.
ahead. All right. You asked me to tell it.
Well, yeah, but I don't
No one tells a story better than Phil.
That's right.
So I call Phil. Greg knows how this goes. When you call Phil, you know you're going to be on the phone with 57 other people while he's not talking to you.
Yeah, he'll call you, and then you're on hold with him for who knows? You don't know.
Greg was on the phone, Shayne, when a fucking Puerto Rican mother went after this Indian dude. I'm in 7-Eleven, and her son takes one of those fucking gummy worm racks. You know what I'm talking about? With all the packs, and fucking yoked that shit off there. All of them are falling on the ground, right? The Indian guy, you are not supposed to be touching this. He's yelling at the kid, not looking to the mother. She gets offended because she's not saying it to him. He's fucking, I thought he was joking. I'm talking to Greg on the phone. This is all going on. I'm like, holy shit, she gets over the top of the fucking, all the gum and all the fucking Tic Tacs and all the blunts that they're selling right here. She's over the counter, like fucking threatening him to not ever speak to her fucking son. He comes in here and he destroy everything. That's what he's saying.
Oh my God.
So when I was on the phone with Phil one day and he's at work, and his guy that comes in to cover for him when Phil takes his lunch break, his name is Elvis, right?
Yes. Elvis is from Dominica.
I'm sitting there listening to the conversation, and the fucker comes in. Phil's like, yeah, you got to do this and this and this, and I'll be back. All right, man, thanks, blah, blah, blah. So I'm listening to this fucking guy, and I'm like, he sounds just like Tooch's wife. We gotta have this dude do some drops.
You gotta have him do some drops for us.
No bullshit. Phil, instead of going on his lunch break, he's like, Elvis. He's like, yes? He goes, you gotta say this. He's making a strawberry shake. Elvis goes, who's making a shake? And he goes, no. I need you to say, he's making a strawberry shake. Goes, well, I don't know how we fucked it up, but anyways, but we're having this guy do drops, and that's that one that you just played right there. That was one of the first ones. And
Parkey, boy, he can hit those uprights, can he?
He sure can, Bob.
He can, Bob.
Yeah.
Holy cow, can he hit an upright? Let me tell you.
So
one more drop from Elvis before we go off of this. This is what he did for you, Aldo.
Okay.
You are listening to Bears Barroom Radio.
Look at that.
Nice.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Better than Pablo. You're listening to There's Our Life, the best podcast ever.
That guy better be careful. Ice is going to be knocking on his door.
So, all right,
What do you got?
We'll finish this up here, and this is a very amazing tweet. Actually, it's the person that wrote it is actually truly fucking awesome, and it's from Shayne L. Marsaw at Wazram.
Oh, breaking news. Breaking. This is the first time you've ever.
There's anything wrong with that.
Yeah. Zimmerman's probably fucking beating his neighbor with a dead cat right there. That I won tweet of the week, and he hasn't won it yet. But
going to himself, folks.
Yeah, it's going to me. But I see all of Greg's coverage and Aldo's coverage and all of the tweets from the beat writers, and the fans from our perspective that aren't there, it's funny to watch them live and die literally with every single tweet. Like Alyssa, I think she was the first one that sent out the tweet today about Adam Shaheen.
Mm-hmm.
And, so they're like, yeah, he looks a little bit ginger. And then instantly Twitter's like, kill this motherfucker. Release his ass. Fuck this guy. Just total fucking gloom and doom. Or Ben Broniker dropped a touchdown pass. And everybody just, the fucking tight ends are fucked. You can't. Austin from fucking Hallis Brawl sends out a tweet that says, you can't fucking count on Trey Burton. He's not reliable.
Clean up your mouth, all right?
Hey, shut up, Jordy. But anyway, so seeing the hot and cold reactions literally with like every snap in a game. Yeah, I sent out a tweet and I said, there's Bears fans literally making judgments on players on a play-by-play basis in training camp 1 week in. They're also the same fans that will see a guy ball out in game 4 of the preseason and be pissed because he's not on the 53. Let's pump the brakes a bit and just take a breather. And this kind of encapsulates, brings in the whole show here to a head. What we've really talked about the whole entire time is that
the theme.
We haven't even played one preseason game yet. And, we're like, this tight end group is fucked. It's fucked, man. We're screwed. Well, we were out in Denver last year for the practice, and what group were they? The fucking Denver
tight ends look like the best thing the Bears got going for them.
And, I understand the thought process with people being down on Trey Burton, but can you call him unreliable?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
How can you do that?
He was in the top 10 for tight ends and receptions, and guess what? He had an injury and he missed the playoff game. Yes, guess what? He also had fucking surgery.
So did Eddie Jackson. He missed the playoff game. It sat out.
Yeah, he's not reliable. Not reliable.
They're all high on him.
It's these hot and cold takes, literally play by play. I swear to God, there's people out there like classic case, David Montgomery. You could see Roquan Smith go by him and not even make fucking contact because he's gonna have his down moments, but people are gonna be like, "Fuck this guy." You know what? Doesn't have it. Can't do it.
I think everyone feels like they have to make a reaction to every single thing they see instead of just trying to appreciate. I don't know. When I'm at camp, you can say the joke is Bears win at the end of the day. So when a play is happening, you can say it's negative or positive no matter what happens. If it's a completion, you can be like, "Oh, the defense didn't play good enough there." That is what. So there's no way of truly saying for sure, and it's just the context of when they run plays. Like I pointed out on Tuesday night, like he throws a pick to Prince Amukamara, Mitch does. You don't know if he's throwing that in the regular season. This is when he's trying to learn what he can throw, and maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But to sit here and try to overanalyze it, is silly. It really is. It's a it when you see it kind of thing. That's why I always talk about when I go to camp. And so, when I saw Mike Glennon the first 3 days, I did know he was garbage, so there is things you can take from, but, at the same time, when you're dealing with
total different
thing,
different position.
This year is about how is this offense going to get anything done against this historically great defense at practice? Because when I go to camp, you want to see the offense win a day. I mean, growing up for 20 years, I'd go and I'd just beg for the day the offense would play better than the defense at camp because you never saw it. I mean, the old Hall of Fame defense of 06 to 12, those guys would give Rex Grossman and Kyle Orton and Jay Cutler fits out there. And so you always wanted to see the offense win the day. And that isn't going to happen this year. As much as I want to see it, they're not going to have a full day of dominating this defense. It's just not going to happen. So, I'm not going to overanalyze until I see because I know this. So what I do know, when you say you know it when you see it, what I do know is this defense is going to be the most dominant defense, even better than last year. They're going to be even more dominant. I know.
Yeah, there's a lot of that shit going on.
I know that. But
we got a guy on the phone.
What I don't know, is how Mitch is going to do against the rest of the league. They say, iron sharpening iron right now. He's going to get better because he's going up against the best defense. There's a discussion of whether or not it's hurting the progression because he can't get his plays off because Khalil Mack's blowing up every play at practice. He literally is for first team. So, we're going to find out. But I do have a feeling he's going to dice the Packers just like he diced them last year at Soldier Field to clinch the division. Why wouldn't he? He did it then. He's a year ahead. They've had a whole offseason to work together. Everybody's talking about Allen Robinson having a breakout year. Let's go. There's no doubt to me that he's going to take that step. But, we haven't seen it at practice yet because he's going up against the best defense in football.
Week 1.
Yeah,
Green Bay.
You're not going to see it in these preseason games. He's going to get like 2 series. So all these question marks are, that people want to try to create.
To build a fucking story headline to get people clicking or talking.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
That's all it is.
What pass rusher on the Bears roster right now has had their biggest games versus Green Bay?
Leonard Floyd.
Yeah.
Just something to remember.
So is Khalil Mack, though, as well. He's proven to be pretty good against them.
Oh,
His
yeah.
first game back, I think what did he do? He had an interception.
I didn't say the best games. I said their best games.
No, I know
Leonard
that.
Floyd has balled out against Green Bay. I mean, that he's made impact plays that, that's what we want from him week in and week out. And I just think you're going to see it's a mentality. All of us here know that it's a mentality. And Phil, you played sports, Greg, Aldo, when you were allowed to
flag football team.
Yeah, when you're allowed you fucking remember Aldo when you were allowed to be aggressive in the alleys when you were shooting rats growing up?
Yes.
I remember that.
These guys are young. They're energetic. They're full of piss and vinegar. They have a fuck. And this isn't. So I'm not bashing Vic, but Pagano is gonna let these guys be you.
Right.
You're gonna see that mentality. Yeah, you're gonna see some big plays given up. I think with the aggressiveness. But to Greg's point, I think you're going to see just as many holy fuck.
If you can fucking...
Well, it's because the offense is going to be better. They're going to score points.
If you can knock quarterbacks scared, you've won. You saw it with Jared Goff. You saw it with Cousins.
Wow.
These guys that have been nominated in the top 100 players, Kirk Cousins, I would never, for a million years.
That dude was 73 or something like that?
He had 0 salary cap hit. I would never trade Trubisky for Cousins. I would never trade Trubisky for Matt Stafford. That's not bias. There's something in the mentality of a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, he's on a fucking teeter-totter with his new fucking coach. Where's he going to fucking tot to? Is he going to go forward or is he going to fall backwards? That's honestly...
He's probably definitely going to top backwards.
Probably the best quarterback talent-wise in football, you can argue. Top 3 then, we'll give him. But... the only top 3 quarterback going into this season that has question marks that you don't know is because of his head and where he is with his coach and the whole fucking team. So he's the fucking, what was Stalin? A dictator. He was a
Missouri. It was in Missouri. So.
He's a dictator of Green Bay. Running shit there. So he could fucking fall on his face. And then here's this young kid at 202.
Can we isolate that, please, Aldo?
First offense.
Jesus Christ.
I'm serious.
Did you have an eligibility list in high school? Like if your grades weren't up to snuff, you couldn't play?
Yes. I was a fucking honor student. Just wasn't good in geography and fucking math.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
One eternity later.
I think it is time to end this fucking show.
I'm buying this motherfucker a globe. That's big.
On the dictator. Yes.
Name all the continents.
Asia.
All 18 of them.
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and
18?
John.
I can't do.
Okay, name 7 of them.
Asia, Africa, North America, South America, China. Iceland, Greenland,
State, downstate,
Australia,
left state, right state.
upstate.
God bless you.
Australia
I'm in
is a
Sicily
country.
right now.
Bourbonnais.
My father's in Sicily right now, visiting the homeland for the first time.
Right. Yeah.
You're the good Lord blessed you with a great singing voice and great creative spirit, but in terms of geography, man, they fucking just robbed you of.
Motherfucker gets done work and sits in the parking lot till staff comes and gets him, just driving around in fucking circles.
I have great sense of direction, Shayne.
Oh, that was the phone call.
have
That was the phone.
any
Real
fucking-
quick. My phone rings tonight, and I look down. It says Phil Ottochian. And I pick it up, and I'm like, "Yo, what's up?" And he's like, "Hey, I was just talking to Steph." Like, okay. And then next thing I hear is, "Hey, Shayne, it's Steph." And I'm like, "Oh, hey, Steph." And then I hear the boys come in and start. They're screaming about something. So I was like, "Oh my god, that's so cute." Phil's like, "Yeah, it is. It's so cute." The boys. And I'm like, "Why did they call me?" They're talking to each other, talking about the boys.
I was calling you to see what the fuck was going on. Was there a show tonight? That's what I was calling for.
Well, there was a show, and it's well over 3 hours long. And if we don't end this thing quickly, it'll be a 4-hour show. Let's do shout-outs really quickly. We'll start with Greg Braggs. Greg, who do you want to shout out?
Well, first and foremost, I'm going to shout out my man and my co-host of Shy Fans, understands, Joe Mandel, Joey Two Scoops, Mr. JoJo, Cup of Joe, No Scoops for You, to name a few.
White rice.
Yeah.
White rice.
Man.
Didn't even call him the goon.
Mr. Man, the goon.
Blue Lagoon in a
I'm
minute.
gonna shout him out. I'm gonna shout all you three out. Obviously, this has been last week has been a lot of fun. Just getting the show right and Waddle and Sylvia and all that stuff. And yeah, if I didn't have the structure you guys brought to me, who knows how this takes off in the last year. And I appreciate you guys being able to provide me a platform to do my silliness and have my fun and try to share it with others. So, it is appreciated. You guys are good people. I've met I haven't met Shayne in person yet, but I look forward to that day. But, this is a brotherhood. So I definitely appreciate everything you guys have done for me because it's, it's just been fun. I continue to just ride the wave from last year and I'm not going to stop. This is stuff that I've always wanted to do. And here I am having fun doing it. And, that's what I'm all about is having fun. So I appreciate you guys. And obviously my man, Joe, he's just such a good man and a good heart, such a humble person. So I definitely want to keep the shout out for him, but everybody else, I look forward to seeing Bobby and everybody else that I've met. There's too many guys. I ain't going to fill it up, so to speak, with all the shout outs, but yeah, all you guys from the barroom that I've met at tailgates or training camp or anywhere, man, I just appreciate it because, I'm just having fun. So if anybody out there that's listening, appreciates this, I'm some guy, I ain't nobody. I'm just a freaking bricklayer that's having fun.
That's
not
true.
Stuff just,
But I was smoking fucking reefer.
Yeah, just having fun, living it up. Don't worry, be happy, as my man Bob Marley would say, man. So, yeah, that's it, So shout out to all that. Shout out to having fun. Shout out to the 2019 Bears. My man Mitch. Love you, Mitch.
Well done. Shayne Marsaw, you got a shout out or two?
I do. I have one. I'm going to shout out Bear Man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Getting enshrined today. Greggy Sunshine drops the fucking ball, so I'll pick it up and fucking dunk on his ass.
I can hear Greg's mom pissed off. How do you forget Bearman? Gregory. God damn you. Gregory James.
He was at the Hall of Fame game tonight.
Yeah, they were supposed to.
Fame.
Yeah, they inducted him today. He got that fucking big old fat Hall of Fame ring that they presented him with. It was pretty dope. So I mean, you talk about raw emotion. They were showing fucking video of him, and I mean, he was just like a kid at a candy store, or a kid on Christmas Eve, and I mean, it's beautiful to watch because there's not 1 ounce of bullshit or fake in that guy. He's happy and grateful, and really, like he said, he feels like he's living in a dreamland. And I just watched it, and I mean, it's hard to watch that and not just fucking smile ear to ear for that guy, because you know that it matters. I mean,
yeah, man.
We love the Bears, and he is the Chicago Bears. You know what I mean? He's emblazoned in that for history, for eternity. In the Hall of Fame with Walter Payton and Dick Butkus and
amazing, not
David Terrell, but all these fucking amazing players. But so shout out to him. I mean, just amazing. I've never had the chance to meet him personally. I know Greg has, but I'm sure everything that I'm saying about him, I'm sure Greg totally agrees with and would back up.
Oh man, he's just a guy's guy, just totally humble, just normal dude, works, hardworking dude, and just, went out there dressing up as a bear because he loves the Bears. It wasn't because he was trying to get anything out of it, and people gravitated towards him because they, shared his passion, and he shows his passion in what, when he's walking up to you, you can see it literally. Yeah. So, and that's genuine, and in this day and age, there's just few things that are that pure and genuine, and his passion for the Bears is one of those things, and it's just something to behold, so you appreciate it. Shout out to the NFL for creating these kind of things for people like him to have like an experience, because hey, why not make this guy, this is what this guy lives for, so why not reward him? He's been such a loyal fan to the NFL and the Bears, and so shout out to them for, setting this up, because I do know how much it means to Don, and it's a lot. It's a lot for sure.
So Greg technically had 2 sessions of shout outs.
A relationship in text.
He did, and I'm sure he's got another one coming.
Phil?
No, I'm going to finish each of your shout-outs. So then when Phil goes, I'll finish his. And when Aldo goes, I'll finish his shout-outs.
There you go.
Phil's been looking down the whole
I cut off Josh Woods. Josh Woods, so I'll cut off all you guys. Too.
The cut off, man. All right, Draft Dr. Phil, who you want to shout out? Let me re-rack the music.
I want to shout out our guests tonight.
Nice.
Pablo Jacques. He's the epitome of class and compassion. He is in the same vernacular with Greg Braggs, just preaching positivity and loving Bears Barroom and what we do here. And for him to come on and promote his own show and everything and be so positive, that dude is real. So I want to shout him out. I want to shout out Dan Aguire for making my life better. I just think the guy, anytime he talks, it makes me laugh.
You'll be texting us in about an hour and a half.
So he always gives a smile and in my life, and what he brings creatively for me to make these drops and put perspective in these things. Maybe for listeners, they hear it for 25 seconds or 10. But for me, working on it, I hear all these little, I got to add this to it. And even in Greg's promo, that's actual audio of Greg yelling at me over a phone, voicemail, saying, Phil, I'm doing it. So when you hear it, go back and listen. I cut it and put Greg in it. So like that kind of creative came from Dan's script.
Me and Dan and Phil were exchanging texts while we were doing Greg's intro, and Aldo, you see kind of like the stuff that we do back and forth, Phil and I. You know, when you're alluding to it with the names, I said we should actually probably publish some of these because they are a ton of fun.
Dan not wanting to call Pablo the crazy Mexican, even though Pablo like lives to be called. Look, I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, he wants to be called. He loves that nickname. Anyway, I want to shout Dan out and Pablo, obviously, and Greg. You just make me proud of what this family is, what you're doing with Joey, what you're doing with Aldo, what you're doing on ESPN, what you're doing on this show. Obviously, that's why you're here. And, you know, the compassion you have, what you did for Barlissimo, and what you did for my sons, that kind of stuff really means a lot. And you are beyond what people hate in life. You're what everything good in life. So I believe in you, and I appreciate you coming on tonight with us to talk about your experience at camp and keep bringing it. So we'll keep playing the drop. We cleaned up the drop that you didn't like. Come with a new one. See that?
Nice.
That was very nice, Aldo.
That's very nice.
And I want to thank you, Aldo. I know you've been going through a lot, and you're doing so many shows and coming on here and producing a 4-hour fucking Picasso. So he might not be a dictator. I know he's a painter, Shayne. I don't know what continent, but
sure.
Aldo took me to this Mexican joint, and we
really?
went in there, and dude, it was Mexico. As soon as you walked in, it was like no air conditioning, and there was like this buffet of like authentic food. I made a plate. I have no idea what any of the stuff was that I put on my plate. It was good, but at first I'm putting it on like, and I don't want to ask nobody. I'm like so scared. I'm like, all right, just put this stuff on there. It looks right. There you go.
We were going to a Mexican place tonight with the boys, and it was fucking hot and packed. There's nowhere to sit, and the boys fucking flipped out, Aldo. I took a picture of the place we were going. We have to leave. They wanted tacos so bad.
Oh.
So anyway.
Deprived of tacos, man. That's going to get any kid pissed off. I got a quick shout out, and you already mentioned his name. It's Barlissimo. For 3 reasons I want to shout him out. First of all, he's got a podcast, a special podcast that he produced along with Johnny Santucci called Taking Offense. The two of them for about 60 minutes talked about the offense and provided some really good analysis. That's going to be out this weekend. Secondly, Barlissimo reached out to Fanspeak, the very popular website that simulates mock NFL drafts. And we are going to be featured, Bears Barroom and the new draft show, Draft on Tap, is going to be featured on Fanspeak, the top 250 list, which you can now choose. Well, once everything is submitted and running, you can choose that when you're doing your mock draft on Fanspeak. So a new partnership there, and it's all due to Barlissimo's work and behind the scenes and getting that done. And then the third reason I wanted to shout him out is because I fucked up his video of Akeem Hicks getting autographed with Braggs and stuff. That was going to be such a great video. I was so proud of myself. Yeah, I got it, Greg. I got it. Don't worry about it. I'll post it in a little while. I'm fucking looking for it. It's like my heart is like starting to beat faster. It's like scrolling through all the videos. And it's like, I'm fucking here. What happened to it? And then what I found was like about 2 minutes of the camera rolling right afterwards where I'm telling Greg, yeah, I got it. I fucking got it. But the camera's pointing on the floor and stuff.
Fucking old people in technology.
Oh my God. I got to commandeer this shout out because I forgot about Barlissimo. Shout out, George. This dude comes out of nowhere and is inviting me to the game in London. I could not believe it. At first, I was like, I cannot do it. And about 3 texts later, I was like, all right, I bought my plane ticket. So, yeah, shout out, George. I'm happy I could hook you up with the Akeem Hicks jersey.
That is pretty awesome. And a pretty awesome show, guys. You guys bring it as you do all the time. I mean, you guys, man, man, I might have to start bowing out of Bears 100 Proof because you guys are producing it. You guys are lining up the guests. You're doing all the work that, pushing me out the way. Fuck, man, I'm feeling unloved right now.
We love you.
You're not going to be our video coordinator. That's
I'm going to be back out on Camp Friday. So those of you listening to this on Friday morning, pop over to @Bears Barroom on the Twitter account. I will be posting some video. Who knows what I can get away with. And since Greg isn't there, maybe I'll do a little play-by-play. Greg was just doing such a sensational job with the play-by-play, man. He's like Jeff Joniak Jr. Greg is like Mother Teresa, Jeff Joniak. He's all these different personalities, all of them really positive. It's fucking amazing, Greg Braggs.
I'm sure there's plenty that are annoyed by it too.
I haven't met anybody yet.
Always gonna have haters, Greg.
Oh yeah,
there's gonna have haters.
There is.
Yeah,
don't have haters.
Kaplan told me that you got to just block out the.
Stop pushing kids.
Out the bad.
if you don't have haters, you're not doing it right.
Exactly. They hate us because they ain't us. That was Shayne's favorite. That was a dope line. Shout out Tooch. Fucking Tooch.
Johnny
Another.
Santucci's
Johnny
moving to
Tooch.
Iowa.
Moving to Iowa.
Yeah.
The Hawkeye. Des Moines.
Got a job there.
Upstate.
It's going to be over at
Upstate.
the job. It's going to be in Iowa.
Iowa's a fun state,
man.
man. There's a lot of fucking cows to fuck up in Iowa.
Shout out to him too. He's been doing a great job.
He has been doing a great job. Everybody here at Bears Barroom is working their ass off. I'm really proud of Alyssa Barbieri. She's going to work out great with the Foam 55, and the guys that are working Draft on Tap are coming together. The Barfly tailgate show, it's going to be tremendous throughout the season. Mike North is rounding up sponsors for us so that we can pay some of the bills. I'm blessed to be associated with all of you guys, and blessed that we have so many listeners who are appreciative of the work that we do. Gonna leave it there and let everybody know that if you drink, please do not drive, and always bear down.
Bear down.
Boom.
Hit record. Jesus Christ.
I hope this show's recorded.
Oh my God.
Oh shit. That happened.
That's it.
I'm sure what it is somebody pushing over
It was very nice.
Nope.
Bye, have a great time.